Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Game Station podcast. Once again, I am back. Previously, we did not have me, and we had Jesse hosting the podcast. I would like to truly apologize.
It didn't have either of us.
No, it didn't, actually.
Well, it had Press Heart to Krendor.
Yes, that wasn't really the same thing, was it?
My consistent replacement now.
Yeah, that did not go so well. So I'd like to apologize, and I believe the human rights violations case is coming up later. So
Oh no.
we're so sorry. Yeah, it's always weird when that happens because it shows a very clear difference between the two kinds of people that we have in the audience. We have the people that want an actual podcast with discussion, and we have the people that want nothing but inane bullshit. And when we have the Jesse hosted podcast, that is what we get. And so we like to appeal to both demographics on this show, but let's just say we try to avoid it whenever possible. Now, someone we do not try to avoid whenever possible, although we keep missing him at pretty much every show we ever go to, is Emil, aka Chuggaaconroy, our special guest. Welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me.
Yay!
Glad to be podcasting with you two.
Wow, you seem a lot louder than you were in soundcheck. Did you move your mic nearer your face, or are you just way too enthusiastic?
I don't know, I'm always way too enthusiastic. What do you expect?
That's a fair point. If you can knock your levels down by maybe 20-30%, and then we'll just continue. It's like, I can fix it in post, but I can't fix it in live. So, yeah, we'll deal with that. And enthusiasm costs lives, remember that. You know, it's a very dangerous thing to do.
How am I sounding now?
A lot quieter. You actually might want to go up just a little bit. Just a little bit up.
No.
Okay.
Everything's going wrong.
It's fine. Stop panicking. That sounds okay, I think. Let's do a little bit of testing. So, Marco.
Polo!
Marco.
Polo!
Marco.
Polo.
Okay, that sounds fine. Yeah, Jesse is not here this week. He's actually... I'm not even... I don't know if I'm even supposed to tell you where he is, so I should probably better not. It's just
I
like,
have no idea
he's
where
over...
so.
Oh, yeah, that
This
might
is
not
illegally,
be...
no.
Oh,
That-
you just make up a story.
Yeah, maybe he told me that in confidence. I'm not sure. It's like, he is somewhere. He is doing something work-related.
He finally collected the money to go to Whore Island, guys. Let's all just be honest. Let's admit it right now.
Could have been worse. He could have collected the money to go to Penn Island.
Oh, true.
Oh!
That was my first and only penis joke of the show.
I'll hold you to that.
Okay, I'll try and promise as best I can.
We've all been to, like, the same events, but we've never met Emil, never...
Never ran into each other. I saw John at E3 like I was telling you before, but...
Work all the time. It's like, I never get to meet anyone at things like E3 and PAX. It's always a really bad place to meet because I got to get to my next appointment now. I've got to cram in. You know, this 20 minutes I'm talking to you in, I could be making more videos. I am a horrible person that is a slave to my job, but there you go.
Time is money.
It
Make
is.
for
Very
me.
much at shows like that. It's like I could film another game. You know, we could do more content for the channel.
Can we just high five and then move on with our days?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's like we already know each other anyway. It's like we're on the podcast every week. That's pretty much the same as meeting, right? You know, it's all good. But yeah, we run into all sorts of problems at shows like that. It's not a good place to meet at all. But regardless, welcome to the Game Station podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We do occasionally talk about video games. I believe there will be approximately 65% more video games discussed in this show as a result of a lack of Jesse doing a 3-man show this particular week. Nothing necessarily wrong with that. I've always thought that the 4-man format might be a little bit excessive. It only seems to work half the time.
Yeah, there's always one person who winds up being really quiet, I feel.
Yeah.
Always trampled.
Yeah,
always,
pretty much.
Always trampled, man.
Yeah,
So.
it comes down to, I think, the 3-pillar demographic being very difficult to change. It's like, hey, we've got 3 people that are on the show every week and know each other really well. And here's this outsider. You know, it's like there's the random friend that comes to dinner with you. He's like, you have your weekly dinner with your friends. You're always there. You always go to the same place. And then this guy shows up. And like, who's he? Like, do you know? Is he yours? Like, did you bring him? And like, no one's willing to admit that they're the reason that he's here, and he just kind of sits in the corner awkwardly, occasionally trying
I feel
to.
so welcome.
Don't be that guy, is what we're saying.
That's why we got rid of Jesse. That means the dynamic has completely changed, you know. But oh god, it's I don't even know how that's supposed to work. Yeah, it'll be absolutely fine.
So are we actually gonna get down to business here?
My
do
god,
it.
people in the chat are easily impressed. Say, "Wow, TB, nice shirt." It's like I pretty sure I picked up for like 15 quid from Asda 6 months ago. It's like, I'm wearing a shirt because none of my really good t-shirts are out of the wash yet. So there we go. Here's a short sleeve shirt. That'll work. And I wear the alligator adventure hat just to complement the stylish choices that I'm going for here. Man, it's good.
Of course.
It's pretty good. It does the job.
Well,
All right, so
I'm
yes.
going to jump in ahead of time and
Okay.
say that
Are we foreshadowing?
I haven't been able to play any games, so
Oh.
I won't be able to contribute to this whatsoever.
Excellent. I can talk about XCOM for an hour. Wonderful. That's what I was after.
So you can skip me. I played
Yeah.
triple tits all week, so there we go.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, we shall start the show by asking what the guest has played this week, while Dodger remains awkwardly aloof in the corner. But then again, he's probably been too busy to play games this week. Chugga, what the hell have you been doing this week? What's been going on?
Okay, well I've gone back to playing Kid Icarus Uprising. That came out a while back. I'm trying to clear every stage on 9 intensity, which I've done about half of them, so that's been fun. A lot of Pokemon Black and White 2. I'm a bit over halfway through it. It's pretty good. There's some things that I will say it's not as story driven as the first, and honestly, I would have liked to have seen more Pokemon games go that route because I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I thought that they were going to. I thought that 2 was
Yeah,
going to be more of that.
Like I'm not done with 2, so I don't know. But 5 Badges in, there hasn't been very much story so far. Black 1 had a lot more story at this point than Black 2 did, and I've been kind of disappointed with that. But it's Pokemon. It's still a good game. It's still something. It's still a time killer. It's still fun.
It's still the same old thing over and over again, isn't it? I don't know what it is about Pokemon. I think the Pokemon game I played the most of was actually Pokemon trading card game in the Game Boy Color.
Wow.
That was incredible. That game
I'll hand it to you. That is a really good one. That's one I don't hear talked about much.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, it is one of the best Pokemon games. It's a perfect recreation of the original Pokemon trading card game. I actually play the physical card game a bit with my son because it's about the only thing we can kind of bond on, and I don't really want to play Nintendo Wii with him. But it's like, hey, let's play Pokemon TCG, and I'll constantly crush you with my superior strategy. But
The card game is good. It was made by the same people that make Magic the Gathering, actually.
Is it a Wizards of the Coast game? I never actually noticed. I guess it is.
It was for a while. It's no longer handled by them, but it was by people.
The original, yeah.
Yeah, they do have a tendency of kind of dumping the properties that they don't like. It's funny how many times it actually changes hands. And you were right. I mean, Wizards of the Coast did it from 1998 to 2003, so that's when the really popular thing happened. And interestingly enough, Nintendo actually does it themselves now. From 2003 to present, it is Pokemon USA Incorporated, the company that Nintendo created in the US to actually handle Pokemon, actually makes the card game directly, which is very unusual. Very unusual. But I like the Pokemon TCG, although I've got this problem with Pokemon that I am a purist in that anything past the original 150 I do not consider canon. So it's like whenever I draw one of the original 150 from a booster pack, I'm really excited about it. As I have a Pikachu here somewhere. I mean, look at this. I just want to put this out. Look at this stupid thing. Like, this is not a good Pokemon. What is this thing?
But it's so cute.
No,
It is.
Look at
I'm a
his
Dodger on
face.
this one. I'm
No,
a Dodger
look,
on this one. I'm sorry.
It's
so
bullshit.
adorable.
It's like, I'm sorry, you're going to compare that. I have random Pokemon cards all on my desk because that's just how I roll. You're going to compare that to that. I mean, really.
Well, that's how the holographic ones look now?
Yeah, well, the reverse holographic.
It's a reverse holographic, yes. Chugga knows his shit on this.
I don't think I have any of those.
Yeah, reverse holographic is something that came in quite recently for whatever reason.
I think I saw an image that put what you were saying the best. There's two types of Pokemon fans. There's ones that are like, well, my favorite game is Black, my favorite Pokemon is Giratina, my favorite gym leader is Blaine, and my favorite region is Johto. And then there's another type. The other type is anything past Gen 1 isn't Pokemon.
It's not a real Pokemon. It's like, when I grew up. Well, I say grew up. I mean, I must have been a teenager at this point when I was watching it, but everyone else was as well. When we were watching the original Pokemon series, it's like, all right, so I know all 150 Pokemon. I can identify pretty much every one of them, and everything past that is bullshit and isn't real. I deny its existence. I'm a Pokemon denier. That's how it is.
I could say that to make myself sound cooler, but for me, it's just they don't count because I can't remember any of their names. And when I try to do the Sporkle tests, I only get the original 150. So I'm just gonna call myself a purist instead.
Exactly, that's the way it is. Like, I don't know shit about the other games, but that makes me a purist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it does. Oh man, it's difficult for me to enjoy Pokemon, I think, because I've always found the battle mechanics just to be so simple in comparison to a lot of other games. I mean, Pokemon's essentially a JRPG. It's a collectible JRPG, all things considered. Yeah. And back in the day, I found that cool. I did play Pokemon Gold briefly, and it was like, this seems okay. But then I tried Pokemon, I think it was it Platinum or something? I happened to have that on the DS at one point. I'm like, this is the same thing I was playing about 10 years ago, and I don't know. Can you explain, as a Pokemon fan, what it is that makes you kind of keep playing the games? Because I'm really interested to know. Obviously, I'm missing something, because millions of people still buy these things.
Yeah, I will say change is definitely not a word associated with Pokemon. I'll concede that. It's not so much changing things as it is adding things, and if you're into the multiplayer aspect of it, it does get a lot more deep than just simple rock, paper, scissors. There's a lot of out prediction. There's a lot of psychological aspects. And with them adding new moves and new Pokemon, it can totally shake things up. Like, for example, back in the days of Red and Blue, Cloyster was really good. He was a wall. He was very good. And then later on, they introduced some stuff that made him not so good, like rock types getting a massive buff in a few games. But now, Cloyster's actually quite good again because of just the way the battle mechanics have changed, as well as him getting some new moves and abilities that let him swap his defense for his attack. Huh. So those are some examples that I can give for somebody that's played Red and Blue is Cloyster.
Yeah, so I mean, what you've basically got there is the games fundamentally change the metagame every time they're iterated upon.
Yeah,
so
it's given a new metagame, but the core gameplay has stuff added, but not necessarily changed. And I think a lot of people that like it competitively like that not a lot changes, just that they add stuff. I think that's why it keeps people coming back for more.
Yeah,
well,
I guess
why a lot of people really liked Black and White, right? Because it was like, oh, there's like a lot of story to this one.
Yeah, Black and White, they went a really story-driven route, which I personally really liked. It gave you a reason to play the single player aside from let's just get to the end of the game so I can start doing competitive multiplayer.
Right.
So I like that a lot, personally. I wish that they'd keep doing that, honestly.
Are you enjoying it less? Are you enjoying 2 less than the original?
So far, yes. It's still good, but it's not as story-driven, which kind of has turned me off to it a little bit. But it's still a good game, don't get me wrong. And I'm not done with it, so I can't really speak saying that it's an inferior sequel because I'm only 5 badges in. I can't say that.
Well, Nintendo has not been infallible lately. There's been a lot of criticism leveled at them for New Super Mario Bros. 2, which is, the kind of easy giant coin rush thing that was going on. It's like, I think maybe this is kind of the point where people suddenly realize, oh, yes, it's the same game over and over and over and over again, and perhaps we might want something a little bit different, although I have to admit I still pre-ordered New Super Mario Bros. For Wii U on release for the Wii U, because the first one was that damn good for multiplayer. It blew me away. Mostly because it gives you so many opportunities to be an absolute dick to your friends.
That's always the best.
Four power-ups are gonna... Yeah, absolutely. 4 power-ups come out for each one. Usually that would say, oh, well, Nintendo wants you to share them. Nope. They give you score. It's like, I'm having all 4 of those motherfucking mushrooms.
Grab all of them for yourself, even though there's nothing to give you points.
Absolutely. Jump on top of people's heads so they fall in pits, or pop the bubbles when they respawn above a spiky trap, just so that they die again.
Totally done that.
It's so funny, though, because you don't really realize how much space Mario takes up on the screen until you have 3 other of you running around.
Yeah. Although, apparently, Wii U, it's like, oh, you could play as your Miis. Like, why would I want to do that? Like, I have a choice of about 8 iconic characters, and I want to play as a stupid cartoon reinterpretation of me, really? Nobody wants to see me, including me.
For the egotistical gamer, it works.
That might be hilarious.
For the gamer with an ego complex who considers themselves greater than Mario, sure. They're appealing to the egotistical demographic.
There is that, too.
There is a fairly powerful egotistical demographic somewhere, so yeah, that sounds like a pretty good idea, but... Yeah, so your opinion on Black and White 2 so far is, like, for story mode it seems to be weaker. Like, what about from a mechanical perspective? Like, are there any major changes that have happened to the battle system from a single-player point of view?
Honestly, not a whole lot. This is probably the time where they've changed the least amount of stuff because it is just Black and White 2. They didn't really add anything new to the battle system. I will say one thing that I was hoping for was I wanted to see them incorporate the new styles of battle introduced in Black and White into the single player, like triple battles and rotation battles, if you know what those are.
Yeah.
They didn't do that at all.
Okay.
Which I found kind of disappointing as well, because I would have liked to have seen more of that, honestly.
That would vary things up a great deal, because the whole one-on-one thing they do is what I'm really bored of.
Yeah, rotation battle's cool because like what it is you see half of your opponent's team at a time, and yet you're able to switch without consequence between those three
Right.
and use any
Right.
out of 12 that you have on them total.
Okay. I mean,
So it's pretty cool.
that sounds like an interesting evolution on the concept without completely breaking the core gameplay, and it
Yeah.
is very odd that they wouldn't incorporate that. It's possible that it could be in later on, or do you have information that says that they just don't do it?
I've seen reviews flat out say that they don't do it at all,
Oh,
aside from like
Christ.
times in the game, which I've already done both times.
Oh no.
I know, and I'm like, I want to see more of this. This is cool. I don't just want to have this in multiplayer. I legitimately actually enjoyed this, which is more than what can I say for double battles.
Oh man,
That's too bad.
yeah, that is unfortunate, and that game is out now, isn't it? Like you can
Yes,
get
it
it. It's
is.
not just review code. So okay, yeah, you can
Yeah.
pick up Black and White 2 for whatever reason if you so desire. But yeah, I'm interested to see what your thoughts are once you've got the whole thing going. I mean, I've got to say, from an outsider's point of view, I'm interested in the videos that are produced whereby people are showing advanced strategy for multiplayer because, like, wow, really? That's a lot of thought you've put into that, and all sorts of
Yeah.
crazy nonsense that's going on there. And I shouldn't be surprised. I mean, hell, Smash Brothers had an esports scene, as ridiculous as that sounds. So why can't
Yeah.
Pokemon?
Final
Yeah,
Destination.
they have world
Items.
championships of Pokemon every year. Even heck, they held official tournaments, which is more than what can be said for Smash Brothers.
Indeed, yeah. They didn't really. Nintendo never really supported competitive Smash Brothers in any way, did they?
No, not really. I think Sakurai has even actually commented that he doesn't really think about it too much. I mean, not to say that you can't, but I'm just saying that Pokemon does have official tournaments, and
Yeah. So they've actually made an effort to support that. I don't understand why they don't support Smash Brothers because the game is dumb. I mean, it's a really fun dumb game. It is. Come on, do you want to take that seriously as a fighter? Because I've seen occasional moments that are really cool, but it just seems like you have to restrict it so much to make it worthwhile. That what's the point?
It's just mindless fun that you can have with your
Yeah,
friends and
it
play
seems
as your
fun.
favorite Nintendo characters while doing it. It's a fun time, but it's not something I'd personally play competitively. But that doesn't. But other people have fun with it. So who am I to say that they can't?
I would totally watch an official championship for Smash Brothers. Come on, guys. Like
They get pretty insane.
guess
I'll
it-
say that.
it would
Yeah,
be
I guess there is some appeal.
ridiculous.
Every time I mention this, I always get shouted at by the competitive Smash Brothers community, which seems to consist of about 4 of the same guys on Twitter. But one way or the other, I guess it exists. I guess it does.
Oh.
But yeah, if the company itself isn't supporting it in any way, then that's usually a clue to say that this isn't really competitive.
Well, Nintendo doesn't do a lot of esports stuff anyway.
No,
do
they
they?
don't.
Not-
It's
not
only
over-
Pokemon.
no.
Like,
It's
it's
only
Pokemon
really-
and Pokemon TCG, right? That's about it.
Yeah, Pokemon and Pokemon TCG are pretty much it. At least as far as I've seen.
I would kill to watch a Mario Party tournament. I would.
Me too.
dude!
Totally doable.
That-
We
that-
should
that
host
is-
one.
That is instantly my content for next year.
You should be holding all of these.
All right, here's the idea. Here's the idea. What we
Okay.
do, we're gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna force GameStation to bankroll this. Like, I'm gonna make this as part of my re-signing contract. You have to do this series. We are gonna do a Mario Party tournament hosted by the GameStation. Chuggaaconroy will head up the effort, and we are gonna create this. We should do every Mario Party game, every one, like 1 to
Yes.
9, every single one. We're gonna make it happen. Let's do it. Let's make
Oh
this.
my gosh, I can't wait. I love this idea. Yes.
We've
Gotta
got to
figure
do
out
it.
how to fit that into a tournament bracket.
Well, you volunteered to head up the tournament, Chugga, so that's all up to you. Well done. Here you go. I've given you a project.
Thanks.
I'm a douche.
Okay.
Great. I believe
So
it.
anyway, enough about what I've been playing. Enough about talking about how Black and White 2 is great, but not as story driven. You said you've been playing a lot of XCOM. You haven't
Oh,
really gotten to talk
God.
much about what you're playing. So go ahead. I don't want to hog.
I know
XCOM has killed my life. Oh god, it really, really has. I've never seen anything like it. Really, I mean, I don't know why, because the game's actually not that good. That's the funny thing about it. Like, I have got so many problems with that game. The game is buggy out the ass. Like, it is incredible how many new bugs I found. So, I had one bug whereby the camera decided, you know what, I want to go on holiday to another part of the world. Which means what I'm going to do is I'm going to forcibly scroll all the way outside of the level, so all you see is grey background, and I'm going to do this for 10 minutes, and then finally it will decide, you know what would be really good if we let the aliens actually shoot. So it slowly scrolls back to where the alien is over the course of another 10 minutes. I left this here, so it's like, I'm really interested to see where this goes. Like, usually I'll just say I'm going to restart it because this game autosaves, like, every time you take an action if you're playing on Iron Man mode because it wants to make sure your consequences matter. You can't reload, you can't cheat. In fact, the game actually does all of its random seeding prior to the game starting. So even if you reload, you'll get the same result every time. It's like, oh, I missed a shot. I'm going to reload the game and take another shot. Nope, game won't let you do that. It's
Right.
going to, 100 times out of 100, it'll give exactly the same result. But it took 20 minutes for it to get back to the alien, and then it carried on like nothing had happened. It's like the game just threw it in my face and said, oh, this isn't a bug, this is a feature, right? There's camera problems like being unable to move to specific places at certain heights. Like, I can't walk forwards. It's like, the corridor's right here, I can't walk forwards because the game is confused about what height level we're on. Like, the camera sometimes breaks where it only shows the ceiling. There's, oh god, it is buggy as shit. It really, really is. Incredibly so. I mean, don't even get me started by the snipers that can inexplicably fire through 3 foot of solid steel. And all the snipers that you can see the animation hit the guy in the head and it counts as a miss. Like, it's just, oh my god. It is.
But despite all of these things,
Despite all of these things, I can't get enough of that game. I think it's because we've lacked an XCOM game for so long. XCOM was a really important part of like my teenage years, and I spent more time playing XCOM than most other games. I played the original, I played a little bit of Terror from the Deep, and I played a lot of Apocalypse, which was the follow-up. And Apocalypse was really weird because it was set in this big mega city in the future, and everything was kind of done in real time. It wasn't a worldscape like XCOM. In XCOM, what you do is you build a base somewhere in the world. You get alien contact, and you send out your little dropship, or you send out your interceptors to shoot down the aliens, and then you attack them on the ground. Now, in XCOM Apocalypse, they were just attacking a city, and you were somewhere in the city. But you also had to deal with the fact that there were a bunch of corporations in the city that were kind of not necessarily on your side, and may or may not be working with the aliens, but you occasionally had to invade their headquarters and blow it up because the aliens were there, and then they got really pissy at you for blowing holes in their walls and shit, and you had to deal with this kind of political system alongside it. It's pretty cool. But XCOM, this version is definitely simplified in comparison to the other stuff like that. I don't think there's really anything more complex at all. I can't identify a single mechanic that's more complex in this version than in any of the older ones. But it's still really good tactical battle. It's turn-based tactical battles. It's about taking cover. It's about flanking your opponent. It's about being smart. And it's also about being very, very cautious. And I think the most compelling thing about that game is it's really hard. Like, ridiculously difficult. And that's how you should play it. Don't even bother playing it on easy. That wrecks the point of the game. It completely defeats the point. Play it
because it keeps you coming back for more all the time.
Exactly, yeah, because you can lose.
I can't put it down because I have to win.
Yeah, you can get yourself into a situation where the game becomes unwinnable and you've got to start again. It's as simple as that. And that's good. Because there's so many games like, oh, we're going to give you an out. This game doesn't give you an out. You lose all of your highly trained troops, they're dead for good. They die in a mission, they are dead. You'll never get them back. So you've got
damn.
Yeah, you send in your troops, and they've got, they're all like major or captain level troops with all of the skills unlocked, and they're mega accurate, and they get ambushed and blown up. That's it. They're done. You don't get them back, and your next mission is going to have to be with a bunch of rookies, and they suck, and they panic as well. I had one rookie that it had shots go over his head. He panicked, and he was a sniper, and he shot another one of my guys in the head because he panicked.
No, rookie, what have you done?
Yeah, and the game does that.
It's like there's actually stakes in you not winning. Like,
yes,
there's actually something at stake that gives you a lot more motivation to play better.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
Like, what would really suck is that once you have rookies, you actually have to be even smarter about it than you had to be originally.
So it's like even if you do fail, you gotta. It's like, well, we tried to give you it easier, but now you're gonna have it a lot harder because you're having to go through this with.
Get strategically.
And it makes you feel great
too.
when you pull it off. That's probably the best thing about it. I mean, at least you still get to keep your equipment. That doesn't disappear. You were able to recover that.
Good.
So it's like, all right, well, I'm going to gear out my rookies with the best stuff I've got and hope they actually hit something.
Aww.
I mean, the standard hit chance is about, like, whether with a rookie with a basic assault rifle is about 25% hit chance. It's like, it's like, whoa, okay, I've got to really think about flanking. I've really got to think about getting height on my opponent to increase my chances of hitting anything. And stuff often dies in one shot as well. You get crit, you can just lose a soldier like that. So
what you're saying is one thing I really like about strategy games, and that is that you're in a situation where it feels like I don't have a chance in hell of winning right here, though, but you have this little bit of hope. You try to dig yourself out of it as much as you can, turn things around, and even if you don't quite win, it's still fun to see like how much you can just dig yourself out of it with the situations that you've been handed.
Losing is fun. Like, let me give you
Yeah.
an example. So there was an old school game by a guy you should know, Peter Molyneux, when he made
Yes.
good games, called Populous. And Populous was a game that was a very basic strategy. It basically allowed you to influence the world as a god. You didn't really have direct control. You could terraform the landscape, and the better looking you made the landscape, the kind of flatter it did, the bigger people's houses got. And like that go all the way up. You remember this, don't you?
I remember this game.
Yeah. It gets to the point where these things get to like giant castles and things like that, and you help your chosen people wipe out the other chosen people, and use godlike miracles to do it. So you can summon a volcano, lightning storms, swamp, and stuff like that.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
that game had a really weird feature, and that feature was you could change sides at any time. Like it just let you do that. So what I used to do was I used to beat the guys into oblivion, and then I'd switch to them, and then from that really difficult position, go beat the really powerful guys, and go back and forth over the same game.
That's fun about
Yeah.
games like that. Yeah.
Because actually, that struggle is what made the game amazing. This is wonderful. You know, that was actually really entertaining. So yeah, I think XCOM is kind of like that. You know, digging yourself out of a hole is actually more fulfilling than just dominating a mission.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's what I like about strategy games, just digging yourself out, seeing how far you can take it. Even if you still lose, it was still fun to try to
Losing
dig
is
yourself
fun.
out of that hole.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's two games I've been playing where losing has been fun. That and FTL. FTL losing is hilarious. You know, I'm so proud to say that I did a live stream a few days ago and I beat the game with the default ship on the highest difficulty, and
Nice.
I was really proud of that because that last fight is a complete bitch, and that game could really throw some curveballs at you.
I hear you sent me to my death, and I'm upset with you.
That was in a previous playthrough. You actually lived the entire time in the playthrough on the stream, and
Oh, hell yeah.
so did Jesse, actually. The only guy who died in that playthrough was Charlie the Mantis. Rest in peace. Charlie the Mantis. Let me tell you the story of Charlie the Mantis. So Charlie the Mantis came on board. We actually rescued him from a slave ship, and he was very, very grateful to be part of the crew. And the Mantis excel in ground combat and boarding parties and defending against invaders. And we were able to get a crew teleporter for the ship. So Charlie the Mantis became the captain of our brand new assault team, which was Charlie the Mantis and Jesse Cox, the weak human. Yeah. And he was really bad at it.
I like this going.
Yeah, Charlie the Mantis, however, was the guy who carried the team. Jesse Cox kind of threw rocks every now and again, and eventually replaced Jesse Cox with another member of the rock alien race, because they're much tougher, they don't take fire damage and things like that. So Charlie the Mantis, and I can't remember the name of the rock guy because he's irrelevant, would always board the enemy ship, they'd capture the enemy ship, and he went through many battles. This guy has like 29 melee kills to his team, and he's doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Like we're firing missiles at the ship while he's still in the room that we're firing at, and he dodges just out of the room just before the missile hits. So we could do damage to the people in the room while he's not there. He's doing all these heroic things. And then finally, Charlie the Mantis, I believe, is killed by, I think it was a lucky laser strike on our ship. And
Oh, no.
he was the only guy to die. Like, Charlie the Mantis gave his life so that we may live. And he was a hero. And he will be forever
Charlie the
immortalized.
Mantis, saver of Hummins.
Oh no, actually, yeah, I remember what happened to him. The Charlie was killed by giant spiders, which was, funnily enough, something that killed you like 3 weeks ago. We sent, yeah, it was one of the random. I remember now.
It's funny that killed him because it also killed you.
Yes, it did. Yeah, we sent the crew to try and rescue some stranded guys on a space station that had been invaded by giant spiders. Now, Charlie at this point was like the strongest melee character I had. Like, he'd leveled up his combat to maximum, so there's no way he should have died, but Charlie gave his life so the rest of the crew could escape, because that's how he is. Like, he is a hero to all.
That badass.
Yes, Charlie is that badass. So yes, he was killed by a random encounter because FTL is a dick. Yeah, I accidentally blew up on an enemy ship. Like, I sent you to board an enemy ship, then blew the ship up.
Wow. Wow, TV.
Quite the ladies' man, I see.
Okay, Captain. Wow. I got
Oh,
so many tweets about that. You don't understand.
well, I put
So
it in the
many
background of
people-
mailbox footage so everyone saw it. It's like, what the fuck? Why did you blow Dodger up? Why did you shoot? It's like, I forgot to turn my weapons off of auto fire, so while you were on the ship exploded. So I didn't beam you back in time. Like, oh wow, I am a douchebag.
Mm.
I am a horrible person. Yeah, but so yeah, XCOM and FTL have been big things for me this week. I also played a lot of Chivalry. Been chopping some heads off. It's been great. Like the combat system in that game is really, really good.
Chivalry.
Yeah, Chivalry's amazing, amazing. Have you had a chance to play it, Chugger, or are you aware of
Actually,
it?
no, I
No,
haven't. I was just
you should
making
probably
a
give it a
joke.
try. You should probably give it a try. It's like it's a first-person melee deathmatch game where you're using medieval weapons,
It's not
and it's
chivalrous at all. You
no,
should know
it
that
is
ahead
not
of-
even
I
close.
know. I was just making a joke at the
Yeah.
title.
Yeah, it is not even close. Like Chivalry is clearly dead, considering that particular game. As one of the objectives is to kill all the peasants in the village. Another one is to poison the water supply, so the peasants are going to die anyway. Then slaughter the royal family, because why not? You know, that's just how it is.
All good family fun.
Indeed,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, and that is out today, actually. I also played a little bit of Mark of the Ninja, which is wonderfully good. It came
Is it
out,
good?
It's brilliant. It came out on Xbox a few weeks ago. It's now out on PC today. It is awesome. Like, I really would strongly urge people, if they have any interest in stealth games at all, please, for the love of God, buy this game and stop being idiots. That's what I'm asking.
It's only $15.
It's
on
15
Steam,
bucks on
guys.
Steam. This is like one of the best stealth games that's ever been made. It's flat out incredible.
Something to fill the wait till the next Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, definitely. And like the current Metal Gear Solid, what is it like? I don't even know what they called it. They made up a word for it. It's not even a real word. And that's
Metal
a
Gear Rising Revengeance.
Revengeance. Yes, Revengeance. Because
Revengeance.
why? Yeah, and that game
The
isn't even a
really-
stealth game. It's just an action game by Team Ninja,
Yeah.
isn't it? So
The really stupid thing about Revengeance is, I actually, when I saw it, I was just like, wait a minute, Revengeance? They made a second one? And I was like, no, actually, that's the first one. It's just that I thought that was a name for a it was like The Revenge. I thought
Oh,
there was
Christ.
that was a second game of Metal Gear Rising, and I'm like, oh wait, no, that's just the first one?
Metal
Okay.
Gear Solid: The Revengeing. Yeah, that's
The
no.
Revengeing.
It's I don't even know. The thing is, like, I'm not a person that really enjoys Metal Gear Solid. I've never really been into it, mostly because I never had an original PlayStation, so I pretty much missed the boat on that one. So by the time
I used
that
to watch my cousin play it. I never played the original games myself, but I watched my cousin, and I thought it was so cool when I was younger.
oh, I'm an idiot, by the way. It's not Team Ninja that's making it; it's Platinum. So that probably means it's going to be really good.
Yeah, Platinum.
Yeah, it's like Platinum Games makes incredible games, and you know, Chugga,
Oh,
you are
wait,
keenly
wait,
aware
wait.
of this because, of course, Platinum used to be Clover,
Yep.
and they made Akami, and Akami was wonderful.
I would be so ashamed if I did not know that live on the air.
That would have been. It's like yeah, it was. I keep getting mixed up because there's the new Devil May Cry games being made by Ninja Theory, and then there's Team Ninja
Yeah.
that made DOA, and then there's Platinum that made that. So like, I don't know which development house is doing what these days, but yeah, that's.
Team Ninja also made Metro Other M.
Oh God.
I have to bring that up.
Okay,
I have to bring that
I never played it. If I'm honest, I never played Other M, and I've actually have no interest in Metroid. Can you explain to me why Other M was bad?
I haven't beaten it personally. I don't really think it's as bad as people say, but people just have issues. They think that the backstory they gave Samus ruined her character and stuff
Okay.
like that. Like that's the complaint I hear. Some people don't like how it's not Wiimote nunchuck, how it's just Wiimote sideways and then point forward to go into first person mode. Like, I know people complain about the controls, and I know people like really hate the backstory they gave Samus, and they just kind of feel like the story is tainted from that.
Yeah.
So that's the big things.
Apparently, they made her seem like really vulnerable rather than a complete badass. Like she was always
That was the
screeching about
problem.
everything. Yeah, that doesn't help.
She was just she was very emotional about stuff and not in a way that seemed to suit her character and who she's been built up to be over so many games.
Suit her character.
It was just silly.
So, a question then.
Awkward silence. Thanks, guys.
It's actually fine. Apparently you're lagging at the minute, which is I think why you got the silence there, which was kind of weird. We got your things a couple of seconds later than we should have. I'm not sure what's going on with that. You're distorting a little bit as well on Skype, so it's probably Skype just being terrible.
All of the sound is distorting on my side too.
Yeah.
I don't
Same
know.
here.
Wonderful. Yeah. Well, hopefully that'll actually clean itself up. But anyway, was Other M set before all the other Metroid games, or was it kind of in the middle?
Yeah, it's meant to be like if as far as I understand, it's meant to be the first one in the series.
Right. Well, by that logic, then surely like showing her as a vulnerable character is okay. I mean, isn't that what they're doing with Tomb Raider? That's pretty much the same principle, right?
I guess I understand what you mean. Yeah, just I guess a lot of people didn't think that it was as cool as they wanted it to be. That's all I can really say. It's typical, longtime fans of stuff just being like, well, this isn't how I wanted. It's like the reaction to the Zelda timeline where there were 3 splits, and everyone's like 3 splits, and they're like, the timeline better than the people who wrote it clearly.
Yeah, pretty much. Apparently, Other M is supposed to be post Super Metroid. Someone is claiming that at any rate. They may be wrong there though.
Honestly, I'm not the biggest Metroid buff, so I couldn't tell you. I just know that it's meant to be early in the timeline.
Fair enough. Yeah, and the fact that she never speaks in Super Metroid, so it's like, well, yeah. Oh wow. Oh, that is okay. So this is actually the complete opposite. Now I can definitely see why people hate this. Metroid Other M was second to last in the chronology.
Ah, okay. Sorry. Why did I think it was early?
I was gonna say I don't remember it being earlier on, but I
Yeah.
could definitely be wrong, so I
Wow,
wasn't
yeah.
gonna say anything.
So chronologically, Other M takes place next to last in the Metroid universe. The events of the game take place between Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion. So right, I definitely understand why people hate it now.
That explains it.
Yeah, because you spent all these games building up Samus as a badass, which she basically is, and then you show, ooh, the screechy little Japanese girl vulnerability nonsense, which makes no sense considering all the horrors she's been through prior to this. All right.
Do you think it would have desensitized her from all that by now?
You would have thought so. But apparently not. So yeah, there you go.
I'm an idiot. I was wrong. I don't know the most about Metroid.
Now there you go. I don't know anything about Metroid. I just got that off Wikipedia, so there you go. Wikipedia does make you feel smart, though. It's a wiki lecture.
Wikipedia to the rescue.
Absolutely. And then, well, what someone's going to do during this podcast is start editing the things they think we're going to have to refer to Wikipedia on, and then we just get it completely wrong. So there you go. So we could very easily edit Wikipedia to support our claim that Other M was clearly at the start of the chronology, not at the end. But there you go.
Anyone
Obviously.
can edit it. I must make myself right.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is what we should be doing.
Metroid stopped being interesting to me when it wasn't a 2D platformer anymore. I didn't think that, I don't know, I just enjoyed them more earlier on. The earlier games I thought were a lot better.
It's different, but it's good in its own way. It's like they wanted to make it a third-person game originally, and it was a risky move to make it into a first-person game. But I thought it actually added a lot of depth to the world and just really made you feel a lot more, I guess, alone, which is something that Metroid's always been praised for.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really liked Metroid, mostly because it involved a lot of backtracking, which is one of my personal pet peeves about games.
It does. That is so true.
There's a reason why.
Like me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the genre's called Metroidvania. Anything that's got a lot of backtracking and often involves a lot of platforming and puzzle solving. It's like, I just wanted the Prime games to be a shooter. Yeah, that's all. That's what I wanted out of it. I wanted an FPS game, and I didn't get it because I got some shooting, and the shooting was pretty good. But it's like, oh, why don't you backtrack here and solve some puzzles here? It's like, no, I don't want to do any of that. I hate puzzles. So yeah, Nintendo's always had a problem when it comes to games like that. It's the same with Zelda. Like, the same reason I hate Zelda, because, like, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say platforming per se. I don't like Zelda. Yeah. There's either a lot of platforming, or there's a lot of puzzle solving and backtracking. Like, more of this crap. Can I just have, like, an action RPG where I kill stuff and get loot?
I feel like the good Zelda games don't make you backtrack a lot. I don't know. Maybe that's not true.
Maybe I haven't just tried enough of them. Maybe that's why.
I haven't tried the right ones, maybe, because, like, granted, backtracking
It's like
was a lot of...
meatloaf. Sometimes you just need the right recipe.
Because a lot of the older games relied on backtracking just simply because games couldn't be that big back then.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'll concede that Skyward Sword does have its share. Does definitely have a lot of backtracking, though. But at the same time, you can pretty much warp anywhere, so it's not like you're having to walk all that way. It's just you go to a past area to access a newer area.
It's fair enough. There we go. Wonderful.
Yeah.
What else have I played? My weekly iPad game of the week.
Do tell.
It's Devil's Attorney. Devil's Attorney. So,
Devil's
I like the
Attorney?
title already.
yeah. Okay. So I have to try and explain to you why, and I think it comes down to. I could probably show you this. In fact, yeah, I think I can do this. You're going to have to give me a minute or so to make this happen. I should have really prepared this prior to this happening. But
Okay.
so Devil's Attorney has one of the best intro sequences I've ever seen. The fact that it even has an intro sequence on an iPad is just ridiculous. But it's all styled around, I think it's styled around early 90s cartoons. And possibly a couple of other things. And it's just crazy. I love its style, and the whole game is filled with really great voice acting. And I didn't expect that at all in an iPad game. It's
Great
in fact,
as in really great or so bad it's amazing.
oh, it's deliberately cheesy, and it's wonderfully
Okay.
cheesy.
You have my interest. You have my interest.
Yeah, so I'm currently downloading the trailer right now so that I can actually show guys, and I can demonstrate you why this is great. And the entire game is just filled full of this style, and that's what really makes me love it greatly.
Sometimes you need
Nothing can go right.
a hero to save you when you've done wrong and you don't know what to do. Sometimes that hero is an attorney. His name is Max McMahon, and he's the one with a plan. Money, fashion, success, and fame. That's the name, yeah, the name of his game. He's gotta win and reach the top. Until he's there, you know he won't stop. 'Cause he's a devil's attorney, a devil's attorney, helping you and me. 'Cause he's a devil's attorney, a devil's attorney, setting all his clients free. So how do you plead? Not guilty. How do you plead? Not guilty. So how do you plead? Not guilty. Max McMahon.
There you go. That's the gist of it. That's the intro to Devil's Attorney. That's why that is fantastic and amazing. And I counted to maybe about 6 or 7 parodies in that intro. I'm pretty sure that one of those title screens was actually from Miami Vice.
Yeah,
So-
yep, definitely.
Yeah, it's like it's very early 90s, late 80s cartoon or just general American serial. So it's pretty awesome actually. The game itself is actually an RPG where there's a battle system. Now before each case, and this is probably the best thing about the game, before each case there's a banter between Max McMahon and the opposing attorney, and the voice acting is it's beautiful. It's so well done, and the jokes are so well delivered. And then the actual game is just a case of you've got to eliminate all of the opposing evidence and witnesses and the attorney himself, and you do that by doing various attacks. So like there's objection, which freezes a character for a turn. There's like
Poke him in
various,
the eye.
pretty much, yeah, cross-examination, hypnotism, and stuff like that. It's all right. It's a $3 game. It's also available on Android as well, so that means that people that don't have iOS devices can actually play it. And
Pretty much anyone, yeah.
yeah, it's fun. It's got a lot of content in it. Like I thought maybe it'd only have like 10 cases. It's got like I don't know, huge amounts of them. So and they voice acted each individual one with an intro, which is great. And you also get to buy really terrible clothing for Max McMahon. Like
Yes.
my character's wearing a monocle and a tie that's a piano.
Why am I not surprised?
And like I built a bowling alley in his apartment. And you can do that, and like it gives you stats and bonuses when you do that stuff. It's all right. Yeah, it's 58 cases in
My
total.
rolling
That's a
stat
lot
has
of cases.
increased.
So
That's hilarious. I wanted it to be like a really warped version of Phoenix Wright. It sounds like gameplay wise
almost
it's
is.
not.
Yeah,
but-
it's not. Like it's not at all. But yeah, I would have liked to see that certainly. But it's fun. It's $3. So hey,
So there you go.
pretty much yeah. I don't think there's anything else I've really been playing this week, honestly. And Dodgy, you've played nothing. Like you've been
Except
up
for Triple Town.
Triple Town. Yes.
I've talked about that.
Have you? When did you talk
Yeah.
about Triple Town? Like, 'cause isn't there some big lawsuit
Forever.
going on with Triple Town at the moment where someone else has
Is
ripped them
there?
off? Was it Zynga that ripped them off again? Yeah, it's probably
Oh
Zynga.
God, Zynga.
Not sure. They do that so often. Like the number of times that when I'm scrolling through articles, it's like, oh, Zynga made a game that's suspiciously like this other game, and now they're involved in a lawsuit. I'm like, what? Why do you keep doing this?
Because they make a
I
lot
never.
of money.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that they ripped off Triple Town, but they might have. But I love Triple Town.
I'm trying to find out who actually ripped off Triple Town. I know it was definitely somebody.
Let's look it up.
Let's do
Town
that.
Rip off.
Wikipedia to the rescue.
Yep,
twice in one
Triple
show.
Town dev sues over cloned game. There we go. So yeah, they actually went out of their way. But who ripped them off? More to the point. That's who I'm interested in learning about.
Looks like Zynga.
Oh, no one
Surprise!
is. Which surprises no one on the planet.
No. Wait. Hold up, guys. No, it is Zynga. We're
Yeah,
good.
let's be careful not to get sued for libel, or well, I suppose it would be slander since we're.
Wait, let's...
It is Spry. No, that's the developer.
No,
I was going to say they didn't rip
that's-
themselves off. Six Waves LOL apps. No, I'm deadly serious. They're called Six Waves LOL
Yeah,
apps in
there
all
it
caps.
is. Oh my god, this game looks exactly like Triple Town.
Yeah, it's called Yeti Town, and it is apparently an exact duplicate.
It looks exactly like it. This game is so addictive, by the way.
Wow.
It's so fun.
Oh, this is why the case was really crazy, because this is not just Zynga just taking the idea and ripping it off, because Zynga rips off anyone. Like, they ripped off Tiny Tower, they've ripped off all sorts of different things. But these guys, Six Waves were given months of private access to Triple Town during the closed beta. They got into the closed beta, mined the game, and then stole it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
so
is
impressive.
way more intense.
that is a damn impressive ripoff. Honestly.
That's
Only
that's
way that it could be better is if they released it first. Actually, no, that's what they did. Never mind.
Yeah, that was wow. That's disgraceful. iOS cloning is a massive problem at the minute. That whole place is. It's annoying, really, because Apple keeps really good apps off the store for no apparent reason, and
Yeah.
yet, well, I mean, they basically are responsible for doing a lot of damage to OnLive. Like, the thing about OnLive was that OnLive seemed it would be really cool on your iPad, yeah? And that was going to be a big thing. Being able to play modern games on the iPad or iPhone. Apple doesn't want you to do that, because then you're not paying for iPad games that are terrible, and then you buy about 40 in a week because you're trying to find one that's good. No, they don't want you doing that. And I have a feeling that the Skype call may have frozen again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Game Station podcast, where if you are watching the VOD, absolutely nothing went wrong whatsoever. Honest.
I hope that you all went to pee, because that was your break.
Pretty much, yeah. That was your opportunity, and you don't have another one. Yeah, I have a feeling that was something to do with... I've been trying to diagnose this streaming problem for the last few weeks, and I'm noticing various symptoms of all sorts of issues that XSplit is conflicting with my Bluetooth drivers. I've just completely removed Bluetooth and disabled it in the BIOS. I don't have it anymore. It's it's a wonderful little feature. I don't have it anymore. It does not exist.
You can't use this as an excuse, computer. It's
No.
gone now.
No, you cannot. It's done. It's gone entirely. And Jasu303 in the chat asks, anyone else getting an echo? The chances are you've got two copies of the window open at the same time. You might want to check that. I always get confused about that. I was like, wow, they've really screwed up the audio in this. Oh, wait, I've got two copies of the podcast open at the same time.
Totally did that.
I've done that many times before. Many times, but...
Yeah. Or when you're watching a video inside of an article, and then you click on it so that you can go to the actual YouTube page, and then it's playing on both, and I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
that's weird. The audio got really bizarre.
Yeah.
You think they'd pause it? I don't know.
What really annoys me now is that they sometimes embed ads, which are video ads with music and talking, and I try desperately to identify where the sound is coming from in my 15 different browser windows. Like, what the hell's going
There
on?
isn't a pause button on the ad.
And it's not just that though, because they put these ads with sound on pages that don't normally have sound on them, and then they always hide where the ad actually is, and it's way down at the
Some
bottom.
people make it a 1 pixel ad, so you're forced to have the audio, but you don't know where it is to turn it off. It's goddamn irritating.
Well, and it's silly too, because eventually you just get frustrated and you just close the tab, and then you're not on their website
anymore. Yeah, well done, guys. Yeah, congratulations.
then
Great
again,
business
you chased
strat.
that
me away. Thanks a lot.
You guys are
And
great.
again,
at
us
this.
complaining about video ads is kind of hypocritical, but
Well, no, I don't think it is, because the ads that are on YouTube are actually pretty
I
damn
know.
fair. I've always I always kind of get a bit antsy with people that say, "Oh, so we have to watch ads before videos." Have you ever watched television? Compare YouTube videos to television. It's not even God, it's not even close. I mean,
Anyway, we're not here to talk about ads. We're here
No,
to talk
we're
about
not. Let's-
how Apple basically killed OnLive.
yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Oh,
Before
that's
what
I
I'm
was
talking
cease
about.
and desisted by Apple, and they took down my internet connection for 2 minutes. I'm trying to figure out if it was Zynga or Apple that nuked my internet, but one way or the other, yeah.
They just
Maybe
bro-fisted, and they
How much
went in.
Apple is profiting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and OnLive suffered from not being able to get the iOS app. The stupid thing is the iOS app was done months ago. Like, there are people I know that have tried that app and said it ran really well. And the idea that you could run AAA games on an iPad as long as you had a good internet connection is a pretty cool idea. And in fact, it's one of the only uses for OnLive. Whereas up to this point, it's like, well, what's the point in doing this? I could just play it on my PC. But Apple have just refused to let the app onto the store. So as a result, they've basically been bought out for about $5 million now because they essentially went bankrupt. So, GG. Well done, Apple. I love you. You're great. Actually, you're fucking terrible. You're an awful company, and everything that you do is spineless and just horrendous.
I really like your phone, though. Thanks for that.
I didn't buy their phone, but I did buy their tablet. Like, their tablet is, I have to admit, better than any other tablet. At least it was at the time. Like, I'm getting to the point now where there are actually tablets that are coming out which are worthwhile to have.
Yeah.
So,
I like my iPad, honestly. But I'll say
It's a
that I've had
piece of
Android
hardware.
tablets and they weren't on the same level, but there's stuff coming out.
yeah, it's a decent piece of hardware. I mean, it really comes down to our software support. I think if you don't
Yeah.
have the software support, then there's no point in even owning the hardware if you're going to have a closed garden like that. So the reason why iOS devices do well is because there's a lot of software support for them. As soon as Android is able to overtake them in that regard, then I will happily get rid of my iPad and use an Android tablet of some sort because I like having more choice.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Simple as that. So we were talking about what games we played this week. Is there anything else that anyone has played? Because I think that pretty much taps me out.
I guess if I wanted to go kind of extreme into older stuff I'm playing,
Sure.
I've been in the middle of replaying Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, that's not that old. I mean, that's only been out for, what, a year and a bit?
Actually, story.
Oh,
You guys got it. Europe got it a whole year before us, even though it was already in English.
That we did. Har, har, har.
Yeah, you guys got it a year ago. We just got it
That's
a few
because
months
Wii
ago.
games still sell in Europe. They don't sell in the US. Nobody wants to buy them.
And then, like, it gets worse than that. You guys had Pikmin 2 3 years before us. You guys got the last story 7 months before us. It's crazy. You guys got the 3DS XL a month before us. You guys got the ability to digitally download 3DS games a month before us. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Whatever
that was
happened?
wonderful.
what have we done?
We could
You're
spend-
jealous of us.
Yeah, we could spend 35 quid downloading New Super Mario Bros. 2. That was wonderful. You want to pay, you say all that. Here's my counterpoint to this. Do you want to pay the equivalent of $70 per DS game? Then welcome to the United Kingdom, because that's what happens.
I guess to be fair though, our 3DS digital downloads are the same price here that they are at retail, whereas over there I understand it's more to get them digital as opposed to retail.
Wow, I mean, the retail prices are already bad enough. Like, there are some Nintendo games for the 3DS that are £40 each, which is about $75. So,
Yeah.
like, wow, that's just... that was the biggest problem I had when I lived in the UK. I just didn't want to buy handheld games because they were so expensive. I mean, they
Then
really
again,
were.
A lot of stuff seems to be more expensive over there, just from what I've heard.
Well, I mean, PC games in the UK are actually cheaper than they are in pretty much any other country, for the most part.
I guess that explains why you got so into PC through college.
Yeah. I mean, AAA releases in there are like £30, where over here they're about $50 to $60, which that's pretty good. Console games are still 40 to 50 quid, so they're about the same. But yeah, pricing's kind of weird like that. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles, tell us about it, because it's a game that I wanted to play and never got around to.
Basically, a lot of the review sites say the same thing that I agree with, is that it's the best JRPG that's come out in 10 years, and that it modernizes a lot of what we liked about them in the 90s. It's made by the same people who made Baten Kaitos, which was a really good game for the GameCube.
Oh yeah, that had a
and-
card battling mechanic, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And Xenogears as well. It's written by the same person.
Yeah.
Basically, the idea, just core gameplay, is that you're fighting enemies that are much more powerful than you. However, you have the ability to see the future, and you are trying to tip the future in your favor, using that to your advantage to overcome much more powerful enemies.
It's a pretty damn cool idea.
The battling is active time. Like your regular tech goes off on a timer, and
Yep.
your idea is to move around the battles and use your skills, and your skills do different things depending on where you're positioned.
I only played like a few minutes of it, maybe like a half an hour to 45 minutes of that game. But I did like the way that the battles worked.
They're very fast,
Yeah.
definitely. They're really interesting too. The soundtrack is amazing. The soundtrack is done. It's a collaboration between the composers of Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, and Kingdom Hearts. So
It's hard to argue
definitely
with that.
combination there.
Yeah.
Hard to top the soundtrack. I'll say that much. It's one of my favorite soundtracks in video games, and
Mm.
the fact that I'm playing a 100+ hour game for the second time in the course of not even a year, that says a lot.
Oh.
I'm told it's also one of the best looking Wii games.
It is, yeah. I wouldn't quite say that it's up to par like with other systems, obviously, but
No.
it's pretty damn good.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. I might have to play that on my Wii emulator at some point. That seems like something worth doing. I mean, that's a game that you don't really need to use Wiimote Nunchuk for that. I mean, you can just use one of the classic controllers, right?
It actually includes the Classic Controller Pro, like you bought it on launch.
Okay, right. Well, I'll just play the
meant
360 pad then.
specifically for that.
Okay. Yeah, because there was Monster Hunter 3 that did that. I was gonna try emulating that, but it's coming once Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate is coming out on Wii U, so I'll just play that instead. So
It's 1080p anyway.
yes, yeah, and that's kind of a big deal. It's like, hey, why do you keep releasing Monster Hunter on really bad systems? Can we just have it on a modern system? But no, that's Capcom for you. But I mean, let's be honest, Capcom only really cares about selling Monster Hunter to people in Japan, so they're going to put it on whatever system the Japanese are playing the most of, which is why there's a 3DS version, which is why there were so many PSP versions. So
Yeah.
that's why you'll never see one on an Xbox ever.
It's kind of crazy. Like they wanted to succeed over here, but they just are having trouble with that because I know that you had to pay to play Monster Hunter 3 in Japan, but over here they made it free to play. Like you had to pay monthly in Japan after buying the game, but over here they made it free. They also gave us voice chat, which the Japanese version didn't have, and it still wasn't really that big.
It's
I
crazy.
feel like for
when
the
you think
most
about
part,
it.
Americans still don't even know that is a
Exists.
game. Yeah.
Pretty
I'm
much.
like, how is the marketing so bad that people don't even realize that this is real? Like,
I know.
it's so bizarre to me.
So
Yeah, someone accurately pointed out in the chat, PSP sales are really bad, but they're really good in Japan. It's like, well, the thing about it is, like, most people in Japan probably already have a PSP now, so their sales were so good for that system over there over a long period of time. Plus, Japan is an interesting one because you see sales have massive spikes that are synchronized with certain releases. Like, the Japanese will buy a system for one game. They will do that happily, if it is a good game. It happened with DS sales spiked around Dragon Quest IX. I know that for a fact. And the PSP sales spike pretty much every time a Monster Hunter game comes out. Kingdom Hearts has the same effect. So, yeah, Japan is... Yeah, they will buy a system for a killer app. Happily.
yeah, whereas over here they're like, well, no, if it doesn't have like 60 great games coming out per year, it's
Yeah.
not worth my time.
Oh, man. Cell phone gaming is getting pretty big in Japan, actually. Like, funnily enough, a lot of cell phone gaming in Japan it's been much bigger for much longer over there than it has over here. There's been some really complex releases. I get very surprised to look through the history of release. I'm like, hang on a second, I don't remember these 3 games in this franchise. Oh, they were released on mobile devices like 6 years ago. And there were complex real games being released on that, and it makes perfect sense when you think about it. I mean, God, what else are you going to play on the Tube?
I know one of the Kingdom Hearts DS games was originally a Japanese cell phone game. I think it was Recoded. Yeah, Recoded. Yeah, that was originally a cell phone game in Japan, and we didn't get it till they ported it to the DS.
Indeed, yeah, that definitely makes sense. But it's an interesting situation. I'm definitely looking forward to Monster Hunter Ultimate because I've really been a massive fan of Monster Hunter games, but they've always put them on bad systems, and finally they're putting it on the system which is going to be the most powerful for about 2 months until something else comes out. But that's cool. I'm looking forward to it. The Wii U is actually exciting me quite a bit now. It's got quite a lot of good there's a good hardcore support for it, and Bayonetta 2 is coming out for it. That looks great. Nintendo Land looks like a shit ton of fun, actually.
Yeah, that's the thing is that A3 presentation did not do that justice. Nintendo Land is great. I tried it out. It was so much fun to play with friends. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, because it's basically 12 games that are based around the idea that one guy uses the tablet to do stuff to everybody else. And they all use Nintendo characters, including even... Like, there's one which is based on the Octopus from the Octopus Game & Watch game. That's how obscure it is.
It's a rhythm game, actually. It's based on the Shield Pose demo that was shown at E3 about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I can't believe I know that off the top of my head. Anyway.
We brought the Nintendo guy on the show to talk about the Wii U. It's a surprise that you know things. Wow.
As far as I'm concerned, Rayman Legends will sell systems, and that is a third-party game.
Yeah. Rayman sold fairly well. It obviously sold well enough for there to be a sequel, so that's perhaps what's important. And it didn't sell as many copies as I would have liked, although Ubisoft just got a big cash injection thanks to Rayman Jungle Run, which is the iOS version.
The iOS game, yeah.
It's all right. Like, it's simplified, certainly. Like, it's a one-button game, but it's still got
It has to be.
It looks as good, and it has the same crazy music and characters, so it's got a lot of character to it. It's still kind of fun, and it's not easy either, because the game tasks you with getting every single lum on every level, and if you miss one, you might as well just restart the level, because you don't get the bonus at the end if you don't collect every single last one of them. So some of the levels are quite complicated, and you've got to react very quickly, because you can't go back in that game. Like, you cannot go backwards. It is
reaction time.
Yeah, exactly. And learning the levels as well. So, yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoyed Rayman Origins a lot on the PC. My son actually played it to completion on the Wii and loved it. And I have it on my Vita as well, and it's probably one of the best Vita games still. So, yeah, that's cool that Rayman Legends is coming out.
All three of them.
Yeah, indeed. I own 3 copies of Rayman Origins. That's how good it is. Actually, 4. 4 if you count the iOS version. But what else is there? Zombie U. I'm looking forward to that. That looks like fun. And once again, that looks like another losing is fun game. So I am really happy about more losing is fun games coming. That's
Zombie
a great
looks
thing.
so fun to me.
Yeah.
It's got like an interesting concept where like you become a zombie and like you have to like kill yourself to like get your supplies back and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
They're being really creative with it, which Ubisoft is putting a lot of support behind it, and of course, Bayonetta 2, which is, in my opinion, the reason to own that system. Like, Bayonetta
forever exclusive. Nintendo is publishing it.
Well, Nintendo's paying for it. People got really angry about it. It's like, are you kidding me? Nintendo's actually putting the money forward to say you can make this. Platinum wanted to make it. Sega refused. Like, it's sold one.
That is what I kept saying, because like everyone just like was hating on Platinum games. Like there were people like sending Platinum games
me?
like death threats and stuff like that over being Nintendo exclusive. I'm just like, are you kidding me? It's like Nintendo funded for this game to exist, and Sega told them no. It's just like, this game would not exist without them funding
Bayonetta
it.
sold 1.8 million copies. Yeah, across the 2 systems it was on. 1.8 million copies. And that game was phenomenal. That was my top game of 2010. I put it out a video that said that. It's like, this is the best game that came out this year, without a shadow of a doubt. It is the best spectacle fighter that's ever been made by anybody. Yeah. It's
better
incredible.
Devil May Cry with much more raunchy humor.
Yeah, it's better than Devil May Cry. It's better than God of War. It's better than anything else Platinum has ever made. I'll go as far as to say it's better than God Hand, which is a big claim for me, because God Hand is one of my favorite Clover games.
Very unique.
Yeah, definitely. That game is phenomenal, and I'm really glad to see it coming out on a console that can hopefully support it in 60 frames per second, because I played the PlayStation 3 version of that game, the original, and it was terrible. It ran like crap.
The PS3 version is widely considered the worst version. The thing is,
it is.
If you actually watch the developer commentary for Bayonetta, at one point they say that they wanted there to be much more insane enemies and like a lot more of them.
Yeah.
But the PS3 and 360 just simply couldn't handle it, and they're saying that with Bayonetta 2, because the Wii U is more powerful, they want to be able to do what they wanted to do with the first game but could not.
Yes.
So
I'm
excited for that.
Yeah, and I also completely disagree with the whole idea. It's like, oh, Nintendo's not for core gamers. Like, only for the last few years has that actually been true. And even then, there's been tons of core games on the DS. The DS has had some of the most interesting titles of the last generation on it. And stuff like Ghost Trick, Phoenix Wright, Nights in the Nightmare, was it Dark Tower? Or something, or Dark Spire? Which was a really hardcore old-school dungeon crawler in the style of Dungeon, where it was all in first person. That was nuts. Like, and there's
it was hilarious, too.
Yeah. There are tons of amazing games. Like The World Ends With You, another great example.
Like one of the last 2 core Square Enix games has come out that's been really a decade.
Yeah, without question. Without question, it's been absolutely phenomenal. So
it is a great game.
Yeah, I've been very, very impressed with that, honestly.
Like, if it can be core for handheld, why can't it be core for console?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, people look at me really weird on the webcam. It's like, what's going on? It's like, the missus just came back in, and they're going to dinner without me, and I will no doubt subsist on things that I find in the freezer. It'll be fine. It won't be a problem. I'm working. I'm working for the man. That's how it will be. I'm kidding. She's looking at me disapprovingly, like I've somehow done something
You've
bad.
slighted her.
Yeah. Indeed.
You never even played The World Ends With You.
I did. I played a bit of it. You beat it.
I beat it on
I know
Call
you beat it. I played a bit of it, and I have on
iPad,
iOS.
And you've never played
It doesn't matter. I didn't say that I'd played it. I didn't mention that. I am
I'm
well
just
aware
gonna-
I never played it. I did play some of it. I didn't play all of it.
No.
No, yeah, I did.
I'm
You
just
beat
gonna
it.
give my butt and just say,
Yeah.
played it, beat it, 100%.
Yep. It's
So you
it's.
count.
I can know that it's a good game without having played it. You said so. Don't look at me like that. It's a great game. It's critically acclaimed, and you liked it, and you played it twice.
How many games are critically acclaimed that you have trashed?
Oh,
Very few of them.
Really?
Name one.
Give her a
And the list
webcam
goes
and a
on.
headset.
Name
Do
one.
it.
It'll be a 4-person
Name one.
podcast.
Do
again.
it.
Let's see.
Do you want me to make it easy for you? Borderlands 2. Name
Well,
another
no,
one.
but that was too easy. I was trying to look for a more legitimate
Come on.
thing.
And that game was awesome, so
Mm-mm.
You were
How come
actually
you
the
don't play
Borderlands.
any? You play too many indie
Crazy.
titles.
I played too many indie titles, so that's the reason why she can't think of
Oh.
anything.
Because how many are critically acclaimed?
How many are
versus-
critically acclaimed indie titles? Well, I don't know. Braid, Limbo, bunch of other stuff.
No, I'm just saying, if you take a triple A that's
Just gonna kick
critically
my feet up.
acclaimed and you play
Yeah,
it-
enjoy.
Exactly. Same it's just completely.
I'll make it
different
easier
subject.
for you as well. Skyrim. Skyrim is
Yeah,
another one.
So I mean,
Because Skyrim is a bad game.
but I'm just saying, if you take a double A or a triple A title that is critically acclaimed and give it the total biscuit WTF is experience,
This should be the whole
chances
podcast
are
right
very
here.
likely that you will slam the crap out of it.
Such as what? Again, I didn't even do a video of Skyrim. Skyrim's terrible, by the way. I just want to point this out.
This is why you didn't do a video
Damn,
review of
boy.
Skyrim.
It is. Skyrim's a bad game. Like, if you get past the veneer of, oh, this amazing world where nothing happens. A terrible combat system, awful voice acting across the board, a world that supposedly reacts to what you do yet doesn't react at all, the depth of a freaking paddling pool. That's Skyrim in a nutshell.
Damn, boy.
That is
I'm
Skyrim in
gonna
a
go grab
nutshell.
more coffee while all this is going on.
It's also Oblivion in a nutshell, I might want to point out. Also, the PC port sucked. As did the PS3 port. So only 360 gamers got a decent experience.
You don't
Anything
play-
else?
You don't play console games anyway.
And rightfully so, because I am a better person than that. You going to dinner or what?
Yes, and I'm not bringing you anything back.
Wow.
Owned.
Bye.
Bye.
I think the chat's gonna start requesting that be next week's podcast.
Be
I don't know
arguing
about
with the
you.
missus? Yeah, that's actually a thing. We did a podcast where we did that. She's got a lot better at it lately, though. When we used to do a podcast, she was not very good at arguing with me. Now she's really good at it.
I have 5
It's,
years of arguing with you experience. Recognize.
See ya, love. Yeah, we should.
Waiting for her to go back. What should we argue about?
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's not argue about Skyrim. Again, I'm trying to think of what we were covering. Yeah, but back to Wii U Core Gamer. I think it was on the subject of, we were talking about the idea that Nintendo is not for core gamers, which I call absolute bullshit on. Like, it's people with very short memories that don't remember past the Wii. Like, you realize the GameCube had a ton of core games on it, right? You realize
Honestly. Uh-oh, you're frozen.
That's grim. All right.
Okay, there you go. You're back. You're
Yeah,
back.
I'm back. Okay, yeah. Apparently that killed the stream for like a nanosecond.
Okay.
So yeah,
are we on the air again?
People just need to fresh. Yeah, we're on the air again. Yeah, people just
Okay,
need to
good.
refresh.
Honestly, I think people would agree with me at this point. People that have been into stuff for like a long time. I thought the GameCube was a really underrated system. Like, I wouldn't say it's quite as underrated as say like the Dreamcast, but I thought it was a pretty dang underrated system. I mean, you had like. There were some great core games, like Tales of Symphonia. You have the best version of Resident Evil 4 of that generation.
Yep, you do.
So,
I'd say it's arguably still the best version of Resident Evil 4, honestly.
yeah,
Like, I mean, what other versions are there? The PS2 version is not as good, in my opinion. The PC
they made
version
the
was
Wii
awful.
version later on, and I think there was an HD port later on.
Yes, yeah, I guess there was. Yeah, so maybe. I don't know if the Wii version was better. That's arguable, I think, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
So.
Welcome back, Dodger. Yes, that.
Hi!
You missed the fun times. You missed the fun times, but there were actually tons of core games. Like, here's a list that I'm just stealing from Games Radar of.
Because he's not enough of a console gamer, he has to steal lists.
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. So allow me to steal lists from Games Radar. So Killer 7, good example, very much core game. Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. I wouldn't say Donkey Kong Jungle Beat really counts. Luigi's Mansion was definitely a core game. Ikaruga, the GameCube version of Ikaruga was certainly one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I currently have the stream dropping up and down, up and down. It's like refusing to send data to it, but hey, whatever. We're recording locally, so let's just continue. Yeah, Ikaruga, Super Mario Strikers was actually amazing, and people keep forgetting that.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of funny how people just look over that because it's a Mario sports game, but it's actually quite fun.
Yeah, without question. Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, really
course.
good version of that game. No question about that. That was on there. Pikmin, which
Love Pikmin.
clearly a core game.
Pikmin is so good.
Yeah, clearly a core game. Pikmin 2 is great. Pikmin 3 is coming out on the Wii U, and everyone rejoices. And what else have we got? Yeah, there's the Mario Kart games, Tales of Symphonia, as you mentioned. There was Batten Kaitos, which you also mentioned. Some people don't like that, some people do. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. Just want to point that one out. That was definitely a core game, no question. What else? Beautiful Joe was on there. Super Mario Sunshine. Also Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. That was great. There were all of the Resident Evil games, including Resident Evil 0, which didn't, I believe, come out on anything else. Frickin' Rogue Squadron. Like, Rogue Squadron was out on N64. Rogue Leader came out on GameCube. Rogue Leader, for God's sake. F-Zero GX. Even Animal Crossing. And, of course, one of the best versions of Soul Calibur 2. And probably the best version of Soul Calibur 2.
Soul Calibur.
That's friggin' Link in it.
Yeah. Twilight Princess. Smash Brothers. Metroid Prime. And that's just from the top 25 GameCube games of all time from Games Radar. There's way more than that. You know, the GameCube was a core system. The N64 was a core system.
It was clearly an underrated system, and it's a shame that it doesn't get much more praise than it does. Because even though it didn't sell well, it definitely had its share of games, and I thought it was a really great system. But you know,
I feel like most people that I know that are pretty hardcore gamers had a GameCube or still have a GameCube.
I still have mine.
So, yeah, it's really bizarre how just one generation, like one system and a lineup of a bunch of systems being geared more toward casual versus core has like completely skewed people's feelings on the entire company.
People can be fickle and
Very fickle.
very fickle.
Yeah, what gets me is the fact that this is all really down to third-party support. Because we don't really need the console manufacturer to create a ton of core games in order for the system to actually be a good core gaming machine. What we need is third-party support that does that.
Well, that's the thing is that Sony, they knew that they weren't going to be able to compete with Nintendo's first-party lineup, so they did create some first-party games, and they were good, but they put a bigger emphasis on getting third parties on board because they knew that was how they'd be able to enter the market.
Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. I can't really argue with that. And Nintendo does... I don't know if I'd say Nintendo are really putting a lot of core games out. The thing is, Nintendo, lately, I feel that from a software standpoint, they have stopped taking the kind of risks that I want them to take. The kind of risks that I want them to take are on core games. And I want to see a new Metroid game that is as good as Metroid Prime. I want to see them do something a bit different with Zelda, which... To be fair, they did in Skyward Sword. You know, I'll definitely accept that. And I also want to see them do a new sodding IP. I want to see them start something new because every time they do, something good happens. You know, original IPs and the start of franchises from Nintendo have generally always been really good. You're the expert in Nintendo. Can you name a franchise that they tried to start where the first game ended up being terrible?
Not overly, honestly. I mean, there's some people that debate that Kid Icarus isn't that great because it's basically just Metroid, but I can't really say that that's bad because it is Metroid.
Oh, you're talking about the original Kid Icarus right here, rather than Uprising. Yeah.
Yeah,
because Uprising's got some weird opinions surrounding it because I know that game had an odd control method, didn't it?
It does. What it is that L is your trigger, you move with the control stick, and then you use touchscreen to aim. I found it awkward at first, but as I got used to it, I liked it more. Just because the amount of precision that you get, like with the touchscreen, I'll be honest, even though a second analog stick is more comfortable, after getting used to it, I wouldn't take a second analog stick over that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just takes time to get used to, and if you do take time to get used to it, it's one of those games where you first play it, it's awkward, but the more you play it, the more you like it.
Yep.
So
It's like
I
stick
can't really
shift
think
on
of-
a car.
I can't really think of a first game being terrible. I mean, I don't know. The first Professor Layton game, I think, is the least good, but that's still a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going through a list of first-party Nintendo software franchises. I've got 31 of them. And these were supposedly all done by Nintendo, which some of them were published. I think, yeah, because this also includes ones that were published by Nintendo. Because I was like, hang on, they didn't make Custom Robo. No, they didn't, but they did actually publish it, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So there's Animal Crossing, which no one's going to argue that Animal Crossing was a bad game. Surely, because it wasn't.
It is addictive.
Yeah.
It's way more addictive than it should be. That's all I can say.
Indeed. Brain Age. Now, you can say whatever you want about Brain Age, but it was an interesting franchise that sold a hell of a lot of systems, and
Yeah.
it wasn't for core gamers. There's no question about that. It was not for core gamers, but it was still interesting, and I could see what they were trying to do with it.
It was kind of like the you don't know Jack games. Like those weren't games that everybody played, but they were interesting games.
Yeah, interesting is one way of describing it. I don't know, Jack. Donkey Kong, well, there. Earthbound, which was actually a series again. They published this. It was developed. Funnily enough, it was actually developed by Nintendo to some degree as well. Like there was actually 3 companies involved in making that, I believe.
HAL Laboratory, Ape, and Nintendo. Ape
Yes.
is now Creatures Inc., which made Pokemon Red and Blue and Pokemon Ranger.
Indeed. Also, Brownie Brown Inc. They were also involved
Brownie Brown
in
Inc.
it.
was involved in Mother 3, but not prior installments.
You see, this is why we bring you on the show.
That's what I'm good for. Just spouting facts
Earthbound,
about
yeah.
elements.
Earthbound considered by many people to be an absolute classic. F-Zero. F-Zero. Why haven't we got any one of them? Will someone explain that to me? If the last
I've wondered that too. I
last
would love
ver-
a new F-Zero game.
wasn't the last F-Zero on the GameCube?
Yes. The thing is, I guess I'm kind of glad we didn't get one on the Wii, though, because with the Wii U, I'd
Oh
like
god!
to see, like,
I think it
30
would have been.
players
They would have made you steer with the frickin' Wiimote. I could see how they would have made this. It would have been
Well, they
terrible.
probably would have had you use the same thing that you can use with Mario Kart. The
Yeah,
little wheel.
probably. All the controller options and all that, yeah.
Ugh.
I would love to
would've
see,
been
like,
so
I'd love to see an F-Zero on the Wii U that has a lot of people online, because I think on the Wii, it would have kind of been limited just because the Wii didn't have that great of a wireless band on it. I mean, Mario Kart was decent with 12 people, but F-Zero is more about having 30 people in a race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely like to see that. A lot of people don't know that Nintendo was heavily involved in the development of Golden Sun, which is a game by Camelot Planning, the guys that also made Shining Force, which is something I really adore, and Shining Force 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. Golden Sun was partially developed by Nintendo as well, and of course published by Nintendo. Fire Emblem is another example. Again, these are all core series where the first game was really, really good. Kirby, there. Legend of Zelda, there. The legendary Starfy. This might be one of them, because I've never heard of this.
How do you spell Starfy?
Starfy.
Yes.
Sorry.
Not a problem. Again, you're the kind of expert of this. This is a weird one, because it came out for Game
What
Boy Advance.
is this? What?
There were 4 games on the Game Boy Advance in Japan. We never got any of them. We finally got the first one on the DS a whole 5 years later, and then we never got 2, 3, and 4.
It's
All right.
like-
What is
It
it?
looks like if Kirby took a drug, so his entire body got really rigid and he wound up looking like a star, and then his face is just too excited.
I like the look on Dodger's face when she said that.
That's how I feel about this, looking at these pictures.
Tripping out.
There's even a pink girl star. It's Kirby.
It is.
Oh my gosh, this is hilarious.
Yep, that
I want to
is
play all of these games.
that is a thing. It is in fact
There's
a
a
thing.
mermaid character. You guys.
Can you speak to the quality of the first? What is this? Densetsu no Starfy. Can you speak to its quality? Was it any good?
Honestly, I've played bits of it. It's best way I could describe it is it's very Kirby-ish. She's actually right there. I don't know. I couldn't really say if it's. I would not call it bad. I definitely would say I would not call it bad. Which is the point of what we're trying to get across.
Indeed. We're trying to find if there is a single franchise that they have started or published which actually had a bad first game in it. In fact, I'm trying to find one that just had a bad game in it, and I'm not having much luck. Let's keep going. All the Mario stuff. There, needless to say. The Yoshi stuff as well, if you count that. Metroid. Again, can't really argue with that. The only really bad one wasn't developed by Nintendo. So there you go. Pikmin, great. Pilot Wings, initially great. I'd say the 3DS version wasn't as great, but definitely.
Yeah, the original was good.
Yeah, the original was good. Pokemon, Punch Out, brilliant game. Puzzle League, that I actually couldn't speak to.
Me neither.
I have no idea. This was
It's basically Tetris Attack.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Is it?
Yes, it is Tetris Attack.
Yeah,
Just under different-
Panel de Pon in Japan and Tetris Attack in North America. Yeah, it's a series of video games, and does that also include Picross? I wonder, perhaps.
I don't know. I know it includes Pokemon Puzzle League.
I was just about to say there's a Pokemon version.
Oh, there you go.
They all look so happy.
The hell?
I'm gonna have so many games to play when this podcast is done.
You're
Also-
welcome.
Here's something else I didn't know. Nintendo were heavily involved in the development of Sin and Punishment, which was published by Nintendo. That's
Yeah.
a Treasure game. Treasure, gotta be one of my favorite devs ever, because everything they make is gold. Sin and Punishment.
I will say, sorry.
Yeah, there you go. That's another example.
I was just gonna say, if you like the flying gameplay of Kid Icarus Uprising, you will love Sin and Punishment,
Punishment.
Star Successor.
Phenomenal.
What is the game about? Sin and Punishment?
It's mostly a rail shooter, isn't it? It's kind of like
Yeah,
it's almost
Oh.
Panzer Dragoon-esque.
Yeah, it's on rails flying and shooting. It's
Sounds awesome.
a lot like Kid Icarus's flying stages. So
Yeah, Sin and Punishment. There's two. I think there's at least two versions of Sin and Punishment.
there's
for
an
Motorola.
N64 game and a Wii game.
Yes. Star Fox, Smash Brothers, Touch Generations. I don't know. It's hard to say with Touch Generations. I think that's Big Brain Academy and the Sudoku Grid Master and stuff like that. So, okay, we can say that maybe that's not quite up to par, but I have to point out that Train Your Brain, Brain Age, sold 9 million copies worldwide, so it's not like it didn't do well. Wario, the Advance Wars and Battalion Wars series, and yeah, that pretty much covers Nintendo first-party franchises. And they're all good. And a lot of them are core games. Like, the vast majority of what we just talked about there is a core game. And I don't want anyone turning around and telling me, oh, Mario's not core. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm sorry, you don't grow out of that stuff. Mario has and will always be a core gaming title. Mario Kart will be, Smash Brothers will be, Zelda will be, Pikmin will be, Metroid will be. You cannot argue that Nintendo is anti-core gamer just because the Wii had fricking Carnival games on it. End of discussion.
Absolutely.
As far as
I mean,
I'm concerned.
come on. There's like at least 4 or 5 Barbie games on like every system.
Pretty much.
You can't.
And the
hold
thing
this
is,
to that.
whenever there's shovelware in a system, it's not the system maker's fault. It's just that it's selling better than everything else, so they're going to put shovelware on it. Everyone is going to. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, they're trying to milk the popularity of the system. It's like the system did too well, ergo, we have this problem whereby people just put crap on it.
Yeah, it's just people are going to put crap on it simply because it's selling better than everything else. It's just as simple as that.
Seems legit, as far as I'm concerned. That's a reasonable argument to make. I don't think that that's unfair in any real respect whatsoever.
Anyway, we've been debating this for quite a while.
And rightfully so, you know. Hey,
That's
you know,
okay.
you're the Nintendo guy. Let's talk Wii U, you know, and we have. And I think it's really important for gamers, or so-called core gamers, and I use the inverted commas deliberately there because I think that there are some people that claim to be core gamers that really have no idea what it means. And they're just, I am so hardcore that I'm anti-Nintendo on everything. It's like, what is wrong with you? Nintendo, for the longest time, was the linchpin of hardcore gaming, and just because it released one console that was aimed at another demographic, which still had hardcore games in it, I might add.
It
know?
did, yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, which, you know, and you mentioned one of them, Xenoblade Chronicles, comes out.
Yeah,
came out-
Xenoblade is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's all sorts of core games available for the Wii. The problem is they were drowned out by, terrible stuff. And I don't think Nintendo hasn't made any mistakes. I think that the stuff like the Super Guide is just an appalling idea. I hate the notion of it. What do you reckon?
All I can really say is you don't have to use it, so I don't. I can understand that they want to use that as a tool to teach people how to play the game, but that's all I say is you don't have to use it, so I just don't.
Yeah, I think that they've gone too far with the whole teaching people how to play the game. It's like, it plays the game for you.
I
That's my
understand what
problem
you
with it.
mean. It's like they're afraid of people not doing well at the game. I can understand that, and
People
there's
need
other
to
ways
learn how
do
to
it.
lose.
Yeah.
How many times did you die in the original Super Mario? A lot.
Oh, yeah. I can understand making a game simpler and more accessible, but I do agree with you there, and there is a reason why I just don't use it. Because I don't necessarily agree with it being a good idea.
Have you
anyway.
ever actually seen that in action? Because I saw it at one of the first times I ever saw it was actually I walked into a Best Buy and it was active there, and it was playing Donkey Kong, the redone Donkey Kong, and I was like, what the hell is this crap?
Oh, weird. No, I haven't seen it actually like on something. I just remember reading a lot about it and being like, no, that upsets me a little.
Yeah, Chugga, why don't you explain exactly like how it works? Because you know the most about it.
Basically, the way that it works is it was introduced in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and it's been in a few other similar games since then. It's that on a certain level, if you have died X number of times at the same portion, you will then have a block basically appear over your head that hits it and asks if you'd like the game to play that part of the game for you. You can say yes or no. In games like Mario Galaxy 2, though, they've actually put penalties on it. Like in Galaxy 2, even though you can advance beyond the level doing that, you don't get a star for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's fairly vital.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have to have enough stars to advance to the next area, and if you do it too many times, you're just going to have a bunch of areas where you don't have stars, and you're not going to be able to go on to later levels. So they do make you go back and do it eventually if you do skip it.
Right.
All right, that seems fair. That's
Yeah.
reasonable, I think. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Wii U greatly. I think that it's got a lot of potential behind it. I do like the fact that they are launching with the understanding that not everyone wants to play with the tablet pad and the Wiimotes and things like that. It's like, hey, here is the controller from the start that plays normal games. But here's also this one, which can play other stuff like Nintendo Land, which,
Yeah.
I'll be totally honest, I'm really looking forward to playing with the family. I'm going to buy a big-ass TV for downstairs, the Wii U's going to be there, and I'm going to troll the crap out of my child. And it's going to be wonderful.
I'm getting mine at midnight. I'm inviting all my friends over.
Yeah, absolutely. That system's going to be fantastic whenever we have friends over, and it seems like a good family system, but it also has the core games on it, so I don't mind machines being all things to all men. There's actually nothing stopping them from being all things to all men, really. You know, I've said this many times about PC. It's like, I don't think there's any such thing as a console game. Everything can run on PC. It's like, oh, well, you need a controller. Okay, I'll plug it in my USB port then. You need a racing wheel. USB port. Wiimote.
Yep.
Bluetooth. Except when it crashes your system, but, you know.
And you have to go
And
into
then
your
you
BIOS.
uninstall it.
Yes, well, you know, it seems to have increased the
What?
stability, but now we have a new problem, which is, for some reason, it's not streaming to Twitch at all. But Skype's working fine, so whatever. I'm really sorry to those of you who are watching the stream and it went down. You are now watching it on the VOD, and hopefully your experience is reasonable.
you.
We do, yes. Well, she does. I don't.
I love you.
I don't know
She
about
loves you
Chugga's
enough for
feelings.
both of them, is what
Yeah,
it is.
exactly. I don't know Chugga well enough to really talk about his feelings at all, so that's just the way of it. All right, shall we move on to news? Does that sound like a good idea?
Yes.
Now, let's do it.
All right, yeah, wonderful. Because I don't really want to take a break because we had all of those problems. So, and I assume you guys took the opportunity to run off and do whatever you needed to do. Yes, no.
I did, but that's okay.
Are we all good? Do we need a break?
I'm good.
I think we're
We're
fine.
good. All right, let's do news then.
I mean, we've got. Are we still gonna stick to like the 3-hour format? So we've got like
Pretty
a little
much.
over another hour to go.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah, pretty
good.
much.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's talk news then. So, what do we got? Well, the first really cool thing is that Project Eternity by the guys who brought you, well, all sorts of good things. That's Obsidian's Project Eternity. Those are the guys that made KOTOR 2, Alpha Protocol. I've not really started off on the right foot here, have I? Fallout New Vegas, but more importantly, these are also the guys responsible for stuff like Baldur's Gate, Neverwinter Nights, and a lot of very classic RPGs, such as Planescape Torment. They are rounding up their Kickstarter. I think it's almost finished. Let's go. Have they just finished? Because the article I've got that says 16 hours remaining, so let's have a quick look and see. Yeah, 3 hours to go. Their total is $3.7 million. Yes, with 71,000 backers, ladies and gentlemen. That is pretty damn impressive, to say the least. And that actually makes them the most funded video game ever on Kickstarter.
Is it? I was just gonna ask if that was.
Yep,
It's funny because there have been so many of these that I couldn't immediately gauge like whether that was as
Yes.
impressive as other ones have
Nope.
been. I was like, wait, how many millions did the other games make? which is kind of ridiculous, but that's awesome. They can do so much with that.
They really could. They asked for 1.1. They got 3.7. I just want to do some maths, actually, trying to find out what the average is for this, because there's this many backers. They made this much money. As you noticed, I accidentally put a trailer on there. It's like, hey, I'll use the calculator with my number pad. Oh, yeah, that's bound to all of my videos. That's a terrible idea. So, wow. You want to know what the average donation amount would be if we just cut it right down the middle?
Yes.
$52.90.
Wow.
Average.
That's like a copy of a retail game. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
that's
That's more
amount
than a copy of a retail game. People
pay.
really want this game. You know, and obviously there's the really big parts of it. I mean, if we look through the pledges, we can see some very interesting things. 7 people pledged $3,000 to this,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
which got them limited signed art of your portrait, a custom portrait in game, all sorts of things like that. Pretty much everything. 3 people paid $5,000. Name or help design an enemy adventuring company. 4 people went for the design an inn or tavern for $5,000. 4 people pledged $10,000.
Jeez.
They want this game.
The ultimate pledge pack.
This is the kind of stuff you would see if they asked for money to make a new Mother game.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No question.
Oh, God.
The funny thing is,
So
they're
much
like,
money.
wow, they're actually going for 4 million here as well. Like their stretch goes 4 million. They might make it. They're 3 hours left. They're 200K away from getting it. They could do it. They could do it. Wow. Also at 4 million, Chris Avalon will be forced to play Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura. Oh wow, enjoy that. That is interesting. There's all sorts of other examples, like the $1,000 tier sold out. Like there were 50 available. That sold out. Then they did another $1,000 tier. 107 people bought that one. I know.
Jeez.
I'm pretty sure the missus picked the $165 one because
Yeah.
she is such a huge fan of Chris Avalon's stuff, and she played to death Planescape Torment. She could tell you everything there is about that game, and it's huge. I mean, it's massive, and I think that anyone that was saying that we're going to be reaching Kickstarter fatigue was horribly wrong. It seems, you know, we still want to kickstart games that we want to see.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Like-
the thing, is it's like people don't like hearing about Kickstarters constantly, but when
Yeah.
one of them makes them
Really-
go, "Oh God, I remember that game," or "I remember that company," they're still
once-
going to be interested enough to look at it.
One such example is that Rareware is trying to come back. The people that used to work at Rare during the N64 days and early Xbox days, they actually want to come back and just make their own development studio and do things independently because they all left Microsoft a long time ago.
Right.
Well, Microsoft
It's-
basically destroyed them, essentially. And if you look
I've actually, if you've heard the latest news, Microsoft, I've heard, is considering to change the name of Rare.
yeah, because they keep
what?
crapping on their legacy every time they release a game.
Pretty much. Well, they haven't said like what though, but there's rumors about it. Is what
It
I'm
wouldn't
saying.
surprise me. It's actually a sensible branding thing, because every time you crap on the legacy of Rare, then you just lose the brand power that even had. And it's now
I
gotten to the
know.
point where they don't have any brand power, I feel.
Yeah.
It's gotten to the point where people are just hating Microsoft every time they release a new game under the name Rare.
Well, it's because they're bad. I mean, didn't they say they wanted to make a new Killer Instinct, and Microsoft said no?
Yes.
What's wrong with you? I mean, come on. We're in a period, the most popular period of all time, you know, in modern gaming history for fighting games.
For fighting games.
Like,
A new
as
Killer Instinct would do so well
They're more
right
popular
now
than they ever
compared
could
to
possibly
any other
be.
time.
What is wrong with you? Microsoft is insane. They are insane.
It was actually an interview with somebody who used to work there saying that everyone there wanted to make a new Killer Instinct, but they doubt it'll ever get made because Microsoft didn't want them to.
No.
Please go independent and make a new Killer Instinct. This is what Rareware has been forced to make over the past few years. Okay? 2 versions of Kinect Sports. 2 versions. Not 1, 2. Kinect Sports and
Well,
Kinect
it's like-
Sports Season 2.
The logical reasoning is probably just like, well, they used to work for Nintendo, so therefore they can rip off Wii Sports the best.
Yes,
Rare.
indeed.
Go ahead, though.
You know what the really sad thing is? For 3 years, they've basically had to adapt and port some old games that they made to the platform, including the original Perfect Dark, Banjo-Tooie, and Banjo-Kazooie that have bought on Xbox Live Arcade.
Thing is, though-
Improvements, negligible.
the thing is, though, Rare didn't actually handle those ports. Those were outsourced to another company that did the porting
Wow,
for
really?
them. So that actually wasn't even Rare doing that.
God, wow, that really sucks because they've got that listed under their name. They have to put their name to that, even though they didn't do it. I suppose because
Those
they made the
were-
originals.
That does suck.
Those were good ports. Banjo-Tooie had some problems, but they were good ports nonetheless.
Let's see what else they made. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. A game that was not, well, I don't know, maybe you've got a comment on this, Chugga, but I tend to side with JonTron on this, that it would have been a good game if it had nothing to do with Banjo-Kazooie in any way.
That's exactly what I say. It's not a bad game. It's got probably the best vehicle creation tool ever in a video game,
pretty cool.
but it's just... It has nothing to do with Banjo-Kazooie, and slapping Banjo-Kazooie on the front of it doesn't contribute anything. It just makes you feel like you wish you were playing a new Banjo game.
Banjo 3D, yeah. What
It's
else
still a
did they
good
do?
game, just
Adventures.
not a good Banjo-Kazooie game.
Yep. They did make a good, all credit to them, they did make a good game on the Xbox, Viva Pinata, which I think is a fantastic game. The only thing that Viva Pinata shouldn't have is the stupid mini-games for mating, basically, where you have to go around you have to go right through a maze. You have to go through a maze eating candy in order to mate.
Mating paper mache.
Mate that paper mache. Oh, get in there, yeah. But it is a terrible thing. I don't... It's just so
A
stupid.
paper mache. It's too stiff.
Oh, video games.
Okay, now that I've broken your two hosts, now it's not show. Thou shalt
It's now
name it.
show.
God. They also made Jetpack Refueled, which I guess was alright. Diddy Kong Racing DS. That's interesting that they actually managed to make that. I guess they kind of made that. That must have been a port. And then, of course, Cameo, Elements of Power, was their first game for Xbox 360, and that wasn't very good either.
I don't mean to interrupt you though, but Rare actually has developed games on the DS simply because Microsoft doesn't have an interest in entering the handheld race. So
okay.
Microsoft Game Studios actually has published games on. Well, actually, they don't publish it. THQ publishes them, but they develop for the DS.
That's crazy. Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah, they actually Microsoft Game Studios / Rare develops for the DS just because they don't have any interest in making a handheld. It's crazy.
Wow, that's pretty insane. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean they started off very well on Xbox with Conquer Live and Reloaded, which was awesome, and then things started to go horribly wrong, and have continued to do so ever since.
Conquer's fantastic.
It is. It's a wonderful game.
It's a shame that it didn't sell well though. But then again, what market is it really for?
Yeah, that's kind of true. It's like it's a nice and fluffy animal game with adult humor.
It's basically like
idea.
it's basically a game for people that are in their 20s, but they still like really cute platformers anyway. Yet they have a raunchy sense of humor. It's basically that. It's just like how do you
narrow
market
things down a little bit?
This
Yeah,
great Venn diagram where you're like, they'll
yeah,
love
those
this
guys.
game.
Yeah, where's the crossover here in the demo?
Yeah,
But-
these guys.
Yeah, oh man, it makes me kind of sad. I mean, don't get me wrong, Rare did not always crank out really great games. I mean, they created the puzzle game by the name of It's Mr. Pants for Game Boy Advance. No, I'm deadly serious. It is a puzzle game called It's Mr. Pants. It came out in 2005 for Game Boy Advance.
Googling.
Yes, do go and find out. Although apparently that was okay. They also made Mickey Speedway USA for Game Boy Color in 2001.
What is this? What is happening in this game? What?
Yeah, I don't even know. I do not even know, but they're also responsible for some of the best games ever made. So there you go.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
Rare.
some of the best soundtracks in gaming.
True, definitely. It's
I will say, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I will say though, on the subject of Rare, that Rare has done something, specifically Grant Kirkhope, that I've never seen done before, and that is that Grant Kirkhope, the composer of the music for Banjo-Kazooie, that's the first person you associate when you think of people that worked on Banjo-Kazooie, not the people that directed it, not the people that created the characters. No, you associate the guy who made the music before anything else, which is something I've never seen from any other game series, which that in itself is quite the achievement.
There are some limited examples of that on PC. Like there are some people that, if you ask them to talk about Unreal Tournament, then they will probably end up talking about my memory for names is terrible. They'll talk about Alexander Brandon a lot, who did the music for that. And who else? There's Jeremy Soule is one that comes up a lot. Like, if you talk about Total Annihilation, you probably think about Jeremy Soule before you actually think about Cave Dog, who made the game. And there's a couple of other games that are arguably there, but
It's very rare.
yes, it is.
For
Nice
lack of-
pun. I like it.
Nice
Continue.
fun, yeah.
I see what you did there. Continue.
Yeah. But that was really all I had to say about it. I just wanted to bring that up. That really does show that they have some of the best soundtracks in video gaming if you associate the composer before anyone that had anything to do with the actual development of the game.
Yep, very true, very true. But, I mean, back to the point, it's cool that Project Eternity is going to happen. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it. It is a classic CRPG in the Baldur's Gate style, and they're able to do so using modern assets. But funnily enough, they're actually sticking to the same style of creation, whereby they're pre-rendering all of the backgrounds, because that just looks amazing. So,
That is the way to go.
yeah.
I just realized, how long did we talk about the actual news story, and how long did we deviate talking about how this is like
This
rare?
is how
Welcome to the
TGS
Game Station podcast.
goes,
I
man.
just mean, like, it really just show how Microsoft handling Rare is such a controversial topic that everyone has a lot to say about.
I
it.
do,
Just
yeah,
like,
I do.
"No, let's talk about this.
You know,
right
this
now."
has actually been one of the least controversial shows thus far. I think, aside from my Skyrim rant and, yeah, probably much the Skyrim rant, then mostly we've been controversy-free, because I think we've managed to avoid the subject of Let's Playing and avoid the subject of a certain Let's Player whose name shall not be uttered here. I'm...
Sure,
Moving
Sephiroth
on.
turning around and walking into flames.
Pretty much, yeah. It makes me sad to even refer to him as a Let's Player, especially in the company of Chuggaaconroy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's try avoid talking about him. Ugh.
Guys, there are full-on gameplay videos of It's Mr. Pants on YouTube.
Wow.
Just need you all to know that, so that when you're done watching the TGS podcast, you can go watch It's Mr. Pants gameplay.
Fun fact, in Alpha, that game was going to be a Donkey Kong game called Donkey Kong Coconut Crackers. I know way too much.
What?
Mr. Pants was originally a Donkey Kong game.
No.
What?
That explains the graphics. Because they were like, all right, let's take all this Donkey Kong stuff out of here. I have a 3-year-old who can draw stick figures. We'll work from there. And then they made a game.
It's brilliant. It'll work. It'll totally work.
It'll work,
Investors,
guys.
totally. Give me your money. It'll work.
Oh.
That is
All
phenomenal.
right, what's the next topic?
All right.
Something.
All right, so Valve has approved 21 more Steam Greenlight games, including, I'm going to point out 3 that I personally promoted, and I'm very glad that they're here. Air Buccaneers. Actually, I
Nice.
think it's going to be 4. Air Buccaneers, Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams. The other thing, Octodad Dadliest Catch,
Yes. Oh god, that
and
one.
Forge. 4 games that I pushed, and I'm very glad that they made it.
And
And, come on.
You're not gonna make me. You're not gonna make me, are you?
Yes. Yes, that. Come on. We're getting closer to our webcams. Come on,
God,
say it.
I hate you so much. York Ventures has also made its way onto Steam.
Took you long. I like how he just said it's like, Young Ventures.
I just didn't want. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to bring it up because I know how controversial a topic it is for some people.
you just had to say it, and
Make
now
you
let's
say
talk
it,
about
no matter
the
what
games
you
that
did.
supported. Okay, so let's
Yes.
back
I've said
up.
it and move on. Yes, York
I'll-
Ventures is on there. It's
see.
it's really weird for me to talk about York Ventures because, like, Yorkscast are my friends. They're on the network for TGS. I recruited them to the game station, and yet I don't think their game is a good idea. So what the hell position am I in? You know, what am I supposed to say that doesn't upset
Doesn't get
somebody?
more awkward than that.
It doesn't. It doesn't get more awkward than that.
It was approved for Steam Greenlight, along with these other games.
These are the games which I'm more than willing to talk about, including Air Buccaneers, Forge, Gianna Sisters, and Octodad Dadliest Catch.
I just love that name so much.
Have you
Dadly.
played? Did you get a chance to play it? You were at PAX. They were actually
No,
out
I
there.
didn't play it, but I've watched
Oh.
a lot of gameplay of it.
It's as fun and frustrating as it sounds. It really is.
Is it?
Yeah. It's just ridiculous that it's like you have to perform regular household tasks, but you are an octopus in a suit. And you handle like an octopus in a suit. So I went into the shed to get an axe to chop wood. I'm pretty sure I ended up killing nearby small mammals. I was just kind of spinning around with the axe in my tentacle, hoping it would do something. The game takes a lot of effort to actually play properly. It's super fun though. It's got a lot of character to it. The original was actually a student project, which was released for free, which is one of the worst games I've ever played. But the sequel's
Dude,
quite good.
it's so funny. It's like one of those frustrating sorts of games where you're laughing through the frustration because
Yes.
you're like, this is so ridiculous. So I'm really excited for the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Gianna Sisters is also really awesome. I mean, this is a game that I believe this got them sued back in the day because it was very similar to Mario.
What is it?
It is a platformer, but this version of Gianna Sisters is you twist between the two worlds. Like, it's called Twisted Dreams because you have two Gianna Sisters and you change between them on the fly. But when you change, the entire world changes with you. So the kind of purple head punk rock one is actually part of the really nice, fluffy looking world where even like the enemies look really cute. But then you flick over to the blonde haired girl and everything becomes super twisted, like right there.
Huh.
The whole background changes. It actually pops in and out. It's really crazy. But you have to flick between the two in order to bypass various obstacles and collect everything. And it also changes the music on the fly. Like, but it doesn't just change the music track. It has they made two exactly the same versions of the music in different styles, so they're both synced up. So they're both
That's
playing at the
really
same time.
cool.
So when you
it
switch
changes at
over,
the right part.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
They also had one of my favorite bands, Machine Eye Supremacy, record the metal version of it. So it sounds great. And that game looks awesome, and I'm really glad that it got greenlit because I don't believe it. I'm pretty sure it had a Kickstarter and it failed. And it's got greenlit, so at least the thing's going to get made. So that's good.
Right. That's awesome.
Yep, so that's cool. And Forge, I've played a ton of. I just got done playing against Athene in a show match.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which he lost 4-0, I just want to point out.
Yes.
And you can watch the video
Yes,
footage for that on my channel if you wish. It's just down there. Go and have a look and see Athene get his ass handed to him in Forge. Very much a PvP style game without any of the grind. It's not an MMO at all, so that's pretty cool. And also, what was the last game that I listed? Oh, no, was that it? No, Air Buccaneers. And
There we go.
actually,
Yeah.
Project Gianna did get kickstarted. I'm very surprised by that. In the last few minutes,
through?
yeah, it pulled through. It got 186,000 of 150,000, so it successfully got
Oh,
funded.
nice.
Very cool, guys. Very cool. I'm actually surprised that it managed that. I really am, because I thought that was one of those games that just didn't quite get there.
Wait, so from the sound of it, it doesn't sound like it would be a ripoff of anything at all. Why would
Not
it?
now. Here's the thing about it.
Not now, but in prequels. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is that it was basically an Amiga version of Mario Brothers when it first came out. And that's why it got in a lot of trouble.
Oh.
So
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
believe that's the reason. There is a history of it, and I don't actually know most of the history, but the Great Gianna Sisters. It was released for Amiga, Amstrad, Atari ST, MSX2, and Commodore 64 in 1987. And it had legal issues with Nintendo, basically because it was an immediately similar game to Super Mario Brothers. Great Gianna Sisters, Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
The first level is an almost one-for-one copy of World 1 Stage 1 of Super Mario.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm on the same page now.
Yeah. So that was an interesting one. So they didn't get sued, but they did get legal threats from Nintendo that pressured people into taking action. So it's interesting. I mean, it actually ended up getting a cult status because it was taken off the shelves in many places due to legal threats. So they then made a game that followed that up. Apparently, it was still a really good game. The original Gianna Sisters was actually really good. But there is no question that this is extremely similar. Let me provide you with a screenshot that demonstrates. And I think Chugga might have a stroke after he sees this, but you can have a look at it anyway. Here is a screenshot for you, Chugga.
What?
Apparently, he wants me to die.
Yeah. I think you can see the problem here.
Yeah. Wow. This is. Also, she looks really pretty.
That is damn sexy.
She is a hot mess.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yep. All right.
Mm-hmm. There you go. So, but yeah, this is nothing like Mario at all. And they've taken the concept and made it very interesting, and it's coming out. It's going to be great. And Air Buccaneers is, well, you get to fight in the sky in giant airships, and you have individual people manning the cannons. There's a guy that's piloting the airship. You can board other people's airships and hack them to pieces with swords, and it's Buccaneers versus Vikings. So it's basically Finns versus Swedes.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, side story having to do with Vikings and nothing to do with video games.
Go!
I was really sad because I went into the bank and I needed a new card. And she rattled off all these new designs that they have available for your cards.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, man, I just don't know. And one of them was Vikings. I was like, what? I could get a card with Vikings
I can
all
see where
over
this
it?
is
That
going.
would be awesome. And then she got really sad and looked at me like I was very silly and said, no, like Vikings, the team, like the sports team. And I was like, oh, well, then just give me your most obnoxious card. And she totally did. She mailed me a card that is tie-dye, and it is so horrendous to look at. I was really happy.
Now you're
But
making me feel bad though because you got like a tie-dye ATM card, whereas my ATM card has kittens on it.
oh, your card is cuter though.
Yeah, it was the only design they had if you want to donate to the ASPCA through your bank transactions. So
Oh.
that's
Fair
what
enough.
I got. So
Gotcha.
my ATM debit card has kittens on it.
Yay!
Mine's just a regular card, and it's like, let
there
me
were
show you
any
on camera.
Amazon
Like,
on that.
no, that's dumb. But this is something I found out, and this is an entire Twitter account dedicated to finding and retweeting people that, stupidly enough, post pictures of their brand new credit cards on the
I've
internet.
seen that.
Apparently this is a thing. People post their credit card on the.
They don't even cover up their number.
No,
or
they don't.
They don't cover up anything. They're like, I finally found my card, and I'm like,
You are too stupid to be trusted with money.
yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I really want to show you guys how obnoxious this card looks, but you're gonna have to just stick with your imagination. Like,
Yeah.
that's not.
Can't cover up the numbers with your hand or anything.
Well, even if one piece of information ends up being leaked, that's just making identity theft very easily. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good idea.
Yeah, you can't see any of the kittens' faces without showing the numbers. So screw
Yeah,
that
there you
crap.
go. Can't do it. Can't do it. Oh, what is wrong with people like that? Yes, anyway, that is, as you pointed out, is besides the point. Let's do one more news story, and then what we'll do is, I think we will...
We got from Vikings to ATM debit cards to
Actually,
kittens
no, let's
to
not do
identity
one
theft.
news story. Let's do releases. Let's do that, because like the other news stories would just take too long. So... All right, so let's talk about what's coming out. Releases in the next few days, and of course, now this podcast is being recorded on the 16th of October. Chances are you won't be seeing it for another couple of days, so some of this stuff is going to be out in the US. Silent Hill Book of Memories for PlayStation Vita and PSN Vita as well. So we have another Vita game. That's news.
That's good.
Yep, it's probably going to be bad, I would imagine, because most of the Silent Hill...
There are a decent number of Vita games showing up in this
Yeah,
list, maybe?
finally, because we're actually getting to November, so that's the time to release them. But Silent Hill Book of Memories, I don't know anything about. Like, I stopped paying attention to Silent Hill when it was taken up by another developer. It's being done by Way Forward Technologies, who I have never heard of, and have made a lot of very, very bad games. Like, let's see. This is their list of stuff. These guys are making a Silent Hill game. Just bear this in mind before I list off some of the horrors they have produced.
All right.
Hotel Transylvania, Aliens Infestation. Actually, that was really good. Never mind. So that was good. Thor: God of Thunder on Nintendo DS.
All right.
Centipede Infestation. SpongeBob Squiggle Pants. Batman the Brave and the Bold, which was the kiddiest Batman game I've ever seen. Despicable Me, the video game. Galactic Tazball. Where the Wild Things Are, the video game. They actually didn't... Okay, they made Contra 4. All right, that's cool. I'll give them that. American Dragon, Jake Long, Rise of the Hunts Clan. SpongeBob SquarePants, Creature from the Krusty Krab. Looney Tunes, Duck Amuck. The Scorpion
Duck
King,
Amok is awful.
Sword of
I
Osiris.
thought you were going to say awesome, and I was like,
Sabrina,
oh,
the
no.
animated series, not one but two. Sabrina, the animated series video games, both Zapped and Spoked. Bear in the Big Blue House, Bear's Sense of Adventure on PC. Pearl Harbor, Defend the Fleet on PC. Ping Pals.
But it sounds like a couple gems.
They made Contra 4. All right, and Aliens Infestation, which
and
is actually
Aliens
really good.
Infestation.
Yeah, so they made two good games out of probably about 25. But
Ping Pals is probably the worst of all because that's basically just PictoChat on the DS on a cartridge.
yeah, which is utterly pointless in every respect.
It is.
Yeah,
Ping
Imaginary
Pals, so-
Friends now included on that.
I
So
feel like every Silent Hill game after 2 has been trying to live up to 2.
There's one really good Silent Hill game that came out recently, and it's Shattered Memories. That is
Oh,
really
I wanted to play that, and I
that
never
is
did.
genuinely good, and it's actually a really
Yeah?
good Wii game as well. Like it has some really cool Wii ideas. Like it uses the speaker in the Wiimote to actually freak you the hell out, and it also uses it for puzzle
is cool.
solving. Like if you're trying to find something that's like, I think there's one puzzle where you're trying to find something that's hidden in a jar. So you pick it up and you shake the Wiimote, and if there's something in it, then the sound comes out of your hand with the Wiimote.
Oh.
That's
like a
Dude, that's kind of terrifying.
that is cool.
yeah, that game actually was really good. So,
Huh.
but lately I think Homecoming was really bad, Origins was really bad. Silent Hill has not been having a
Origins
good
was
time lately.
garbage. Yeah.
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 So,
Next up, we got if we want to move on, we got
do.
Ragnarok Odyssey for the Vita.
Yeah, that's also an interesting one because that's a single player version of Ragnarok Online essentially.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that actually want Vitas just for that game, but they don't want to shell out the money for it.
Yeah, it's understandable. I
Big
mean,
fan
I
for
already own
Ragnarok.
one. I will probably pick this up because the Ragnarok style of RPG is basically a 2D side-scroller brawler RPG, which I really like the idea of.
yeah.
So that would be cool. Dance Central 3 for Xbox. Whoopity-doo-dah, bloody day.
It'll do awesome.
Yes, it will.
You know.
007 Legends for PS3 and Xbox. I wasn't aware there was another 007 game coming out.
No, I was just about to say I didn't even know this game was real. So,
It goes to show how nobody cares about anything that's not GoldenEye.
well, I mean they're starting to do promotions for the new
Skyfall?
007 movie.
Yeah.
So maybe
Apparently
they were
this
like,
game's terrible, by the way.
pop out a game.
So I dug up a couple of reviews on this. It is really not very good at all. There is not a single review site that has currently reviewed it well. So that might be a
Good.
problem. Sounds like a cash-in, so let the buyer beware on that one. Rocksmith for PC, which is a really odd choice. Rocksmith is that guitar game which actually uses a real guitar. I want to play this because I'd actually like to try and learn guitar. I probably won't be able to, but it seems interesting. It's been out for months on consoles. Many months.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who's played it though.
You need to ask Zook. I think Zook's actually going to play it, and he plays guitar, so he could tell you.
Ah. So there you go.
Jet Set-
Skylanders Giants on the 21st.
Uh-huh.
Good.
Oh god, a new addiction will begin. But before that, Jet Set
Oh,
Radio
Doom
HD on
3.
PlayStation Vita is coming out. Mark of the Ninja comes out today on PC. Again, please buy this. And Doom 3 BFG edition, PS3.
I totally forgot about.
Yeah, I picked that up on PC, and apparently there's like no difference at all. They added a bit extra content, but it doesn't look any better. In fact, arguably it looks worse because they had to take out some of the shadow effects because the console couldn't handle it. That's really embarrassing, by the way, console guys. That a game that was run fine on the original Xbox can't run well on 360. Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, they ported the engine to id Tech 5, which is the Rage engine, and apparently they had to make some changes to make that work properly. So, if you've never played Doom 3 and you want to play it on a console, I guess it's worth having. It comes with the expansion pack and a bunch of lost levels and stuff. And the most important thing is it supposedly has Oculus Rift support for that whole 3D thing. But Oculus Rift also isn't out yet, so I don't care. Yeah. When it comes out, I might care.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, what else have we got? In the EU, and actually this is across the board, Ravaged on the 17th, which is a post-apocalyptic Mad Max-style Battlefield-esque multiplayer game, which there is actually content on the channel for right now, by the way. I cast the tournament a couple of days ago. It's pretty good fun. It's bandits versus resistance, and there is a flip the bird button.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good.
Pretty cool game. Pretty cool game. Oh wow, Madagascar 3, the video game. I'm truly looking forward to that one. That's gonna
It's
be
gonna
game of the
be
year.
really good, guys.
Yeah, game of the year for me. Game of the
They're
year.
gonna
Game of the
nail
year
this
nominee.
one.
Yep, absolutely. Street Fighter X Tekken also coming out for PlayStation Vita this week, and this is the big one for a lot of people: Skylanders Giants, the latest in the Skylanders series, where they make you rebuy all of the stuff because they're twice the size of the originals and won't fit in the original dock.
Yep.
Activision's
Yay.
found its latest cash cow after the Guitar Hero series, and my god, are they making bank on this one?
Yeah.
It's not actually a bad game. I mean, neither was
Yeah,
Guitar
it's
Hero.
not. It's actually quite good.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why people are going out and buying all those toys.
I still have yet to play it or
I
watch
said it,
somebody play it.
the kid plays a lot of it. Like, he loves it to
Yeah.
death. And, like, it's a legitimately good game. And I said this 1,000 times. If this was out when I was in my early teenage years, I would have bought the crap out of it. There's no
Oh, yeah.
question.
Now,
Oh,
my
high
question-
school me
would have been all
Now-
over it.
Now, my question that I want to bring up, though, is that if their way to get you to buy all the toys again is by making them bigger so they won't fit in the original dock, how many times over do you think they're going to be able to do that?
Well, no,
Think
this
about
time
just how
Skylanders
what life-size
Micro.
Barbie.
They make them too small that it doesn't fit in the original dock.
Oh.
Or
think about how far they could carry that, making them smaller.
They just change the shape of the base. Like the next one's like Skylanders pyramids, and everything is triangular. Won't fit in the original dock.
I want them to
But
go
they actually
full
make-
on like
like
girl
upside down,
toy
so it
style
won't
with this.
stand up straight on its own. And it
Yeah.
just topples over.
You got to buy a special suspension kit to get them to work. Like they could do this a few times. I think it's not a bad game at all. It's a very expensive game to play because you have to buy all of these bloody miniatures, and the Giants ones are twice the size, so they're going to cost more money.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
But apparently they do light up and interact depending on what's going on in the game, which is kind of cool. Like light up eyes and LEDs and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Dodger, are you under attack?
I need to sneeze.
Okay, this is
Oh,
It's gone.
censored.
The worst
So
thing of all
sad.
time. But there are big releases coming out. We are entering the realm of ridiculous in the form of November. We all know how November gets, but some guys have got a head start. Medal of Honor Warfighter, because releasing this against Black Ops 2 would be a very bad idea, on October
Yeah.
23rd for PS3, Xbox, and PC. There's one thing about this that I find interesting. I don't give a crap about the single player, especially because the first one, single player, was god-awful. This is the thing I'm interested in. They have this mechanic in the multiplayer where you are spawned in a two-man fire team by default and you can't get out of it. Now, they did this to make you work with someone else. Like, you can, like, revive them and you can cover them, and there are, like, various interactions that you can do between you and the guy on your fire team. And supposedly, the people that have been playing the beta and things like that have said, this really makes you work with a guy you've never met before. And it actually promotes this interaction in a similar. You know how Journey did it?
Yeah.
Same thing. Like that's what they're doing, but they're doing it with an FPS. That seems like a cool idea, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I dig multiplayer FPS, and I play everyone that comes out, even if they're terrible and generic. So I'll pick this up. We'll see how it turns out.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Huh.
it does. What else have we got? Kabbalah's Hunting Expeditions for Xbox, PS3, Wii, and PC. Good God.
Yeah.
Another Vita game, Super Monkey Ball Banana Splits. Will probably be good because it's Monkey Ball.
Yeah. Those games are pretty good.
Indeed. What else have we got? Oh, Pac-Man Championship Edition DX is for PC. Yeah. That game is great. You know what really confuses me on this release list? We have Microsoft Minesweeper.
Minesweeper? I was just
Solitaire
reading
Collection.
that.
Microsoft Minds.
Are you serious? You're going to sell us that again? It was free in the first place. Oh,
Been free in like the past how many versions of Windows?
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm gonna look because I'm pretty sure I have this.
Well,
Yep.
if you've never owned a computer before and you're
There it
buying one
is.
now, and you're too dumb to know that it's in the OS,
There's actually some really crazy PC stuff coming out. Like the one, I believe a lot of this is coming out retail box copies. BlazBlue Calamity Trigger. There's a BlazBlue game coming for PC, but why the hell did they release like that version is 2 versions out of date now? Like, because they had Continuum Shift
buy it.
and then there was another version of Continuum Shift. So yeah, I'm going to definitely buy an old version of BlazBlue for PC. What the hell's going on with
Why
that?
not, you know?
Yeah, that's not great. What else have we got? Skulls of the Shogun is coming out, but didn't they make that Windows 8 exclusive? Because
Did
if they're
they?
bringing that out before Windows 8, then they're very silly. The Shogun. As I heard this was Windows 8 exclusive. Did they change their minds? Or are they crazy and releasing... no,
maybe it's the.
it's Windows 7 now. Okay, that
Oh,
must...
wow.
That apparently must have been changed.
I was gonna say maybe they're making it so you can play it up to a certain point on Windows 7,
That
and
would be
then
terrible.
that's your
Right.
incentive to get Windows 8.
Have to buy it again.
Well, according to their official website, Windows 7 is listed as a platform that it's coming out on. So, launch platforms XPL... Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's Windows Phone 7. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What?
All 4 of you that own one of those.
Cross-platform play, because God knows you won't find
You guys
anyone on Windows
play
Phone 7 to
together.
play with. Xbox Live Arcade, Windows 8, an operating system which is not out yet. Oh, these guys are idiots. They're idiots.
Oh,
know Jetpack Joyride is coming to PC?
Yes, it is. Which is apparently okay. Isn't Windows 8 actually coming out this month? I guess that would make sense. I'm just trying
Is
to find out
it?
if
I didn't think it was happening that fast.
Windows 8 is
Let's see what the
not
release
on
date
my
is, 'cause
release
maybe,
date.
maybe we're the idiots.
Yeah, I think this is coming out at the same time as Windows 8. I'm pretty sure that's probably why this is happening. Let me just find out. Windows 8 release date. When's the release date for this thing?
October 26th?
Yep, same date. Yep, okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. But
We're the idiots.
it wasn't in my release date list, like, because Windows 8 isn't the game, ergo it never showed up on my release list. So there you go. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, there you go. Skulls of the Shogun, which I will not be playing because I'm not going to upgrade to Windows 8 because there's no point. So, yeah, you can get rid of that. What else? Oh, Toy Soldiers Cold War is coming out, which is a great Xbox Live game. We got the original Toy Soldiers a few months ago, I think. We're now getting Cold War, which is even better. So, oh, there's a new Hydro Thunder game coming for PC. That excites me. Hydro Thunder. That game was amazing on Dreamcast. Hydro Thunder
immediately
Hurricane.
followed by Microsoft's Solitaire collection.
I
Gotta have those Windows 3.1 visuals. That is vintage play right
Man.
there.
no words.
Get me some Minesweeper, some Solitaire.
I
I'm
have
gonna be
no
so
words.
fancy.
Yep.
Actually, are those actual like retail games to buy, or are they just on the release list because
I
they
think-
come inside Windows 8?
I think they're probably, well, yeah, there's a possibility of both of them. Like, I imagine that a lot of these are probably coming out on the Windows 8 marketplace. So, oh wow,
Guys.
that is super corrupt. Like, they're releasing a collection of their own free games on their own marketplace to buy.
But what if no, TB, think about this even further corrupt. What if they're not free anymore? You get
Oh.
Windows 8 and it doesn't come with
Oh.
any games.
Oh,
They make you buy them all. You know what? I think they're banking on the fact that it's going to be like the Team Fortress 2 fan base where they want to pay for something that's free now.
oh my God.
It'd be so sad. Oh my gosh.
They're banking on the fact that Microsoft Solitaire is so good that the fans of Microsoft Solitaire will act like the fans of Team Fortress 2.
Well, imagining like people like my mom who play all of those games constantly. If she were to get Windows 8
and doesn't have access to
and
that
those
anymore.
games weren't there, she would
totally
be
buy 'em.
so sad. And I don't know if she would be able to figure out how to buy them. Like she would
Wow.
just sit there depressed for a while.
Wow, that's crippling. That is crippling. But
Better
yeah,
yet, she would ask you to figure out how to buy them for her.
Yeah.
And you would have to go through the pain of doing that.
That's true.
oh man, that is just god awful. Well, yeah. Also, October 28th, Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask for 3DS.
Oh, Professor Layton games are so good.
Yep. There you go. And
That is-
last, but by the looks of it, no means least, Assassin's Creed 3, October 31st for Xbox and PS3. Now, the funny thing about this is there was an interview with GameSpy that says that was basically them repeating the question, so when's the PC version coming out? And they're like, October 31st. No, really, when's the PC version coming out? No, really, October 31st. What happened? It got delayed. It got delayed.
course.
No big
Of course.
surprise.
We all knew. We all knew it in our heart places.
Ubisoft, stop it. Stop it right now. God damn it.
Can't even look at you.
Good. Yeah, but there you go. That's a release list for this week, ladies and gentlemen. We are rapidly running out of time, so I think what we'll probably do is talk about... There's no good trailers this week, so don't even ask. Like, I'd love to show you trailers of stuff, but again, copyright claims. So let's talk about a few videos from the Game Station. So what have we got? Well, Chugga, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're about to see from the channel Steven Plays?
Steven Plays is currently doing a Let's Play of Pokemon Leaf Green. He knows nothing about Pokemon at all.
So is this a parody Let's Play, or...?
Pretty much. It's a parody of how I try to be really informative and give tons of information. He has a disclaimer at the beginning of his videos saying that take everything with a grain of salt because everything is going to be false information, and that
Did he
also
make
lets
this
his
solely
fans-
to piss you off? Did he actually start an
That's
entire
hilarious.
series just to annoy you?
I kind of wonder, actually, because we do know each other. We were friends, and he's just kind of doing like a parody. And the thing is, he lets like his viewers do fan art of like the Pokemon, so he can make like mock bios of like his incredibly limited knowledge of each one.
hilarious.
Anyway,
Oh, wow.
so that's what we're about to see here
All
from
right.
the channel Steven Plays.
Okay, here we go. Pokemon Leaf Green by Steven Plays, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look.
Pokeballs. I now have 15. There was a few comments that were like, hey, you should really buy more Pokeballs because you don't have very many. And originally I read that and was like, I don't need more Pokeballs. But the truth of the matter is I'm going to be away from a Pokemart for a while. It's going to be a while before I get back to a Pokemart. I'm going to be coming up on the Rock Tunnel. I'm going to be trying to capture some new Pokemon, and I wouldn't want to run out because it'll be a while before I get back. Anyway, we have quite a few Pokemon trainers that we have to battle today on Route 9, and we are working our way towards the Rock Tunnel, so let's get started. You have Pokemon with you. You're mine. Okay, let's get it on. Luigi. Picnicker Alicia wants to battle. She's got 4 Pokemons. Aw, you got the Oddish. I got the Gooby. Probably not the best type matchup for me, I guess. So you're probably going to use nothing but grass types. Why don't we go ahead and switch out to someone who can do adequate damage to grass types? And that's going to be...
Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan the Pokemon. This is a r/circle jerk version of Pokemon going on right here.
Yeah, sad thing is he owns a kitten that is named Sagan and Kepler.
Oh,
He owns kittens
God.
named those.
Is there one called Dawkins as well? Is it Neil deGrasse Tyson? Oh, Christ. This Pokemon LP is fueled by bravery. Well, dear. Yeah, that is a genuinely bad LP. Like, I just want to point out he's doing that on purpose, yes?
Yeah.
Trying
Please
to
tell
make
me.
the worst Pokemon Let's Play possible on
Okay.
purpose. Is what
He's doing a good job so far, but I think he
kind of
needs more
awkward.
unregistered Hypercam 2. I think that's required.
Yes!
You don't even make it.
Oh
Just
my
put
gosh,
a little thing in
see?
the corner that says that.
The sad thing is there was one time when I actually did that on purpose. Like, I think I said in the commentary, like, I did something really wrong, and I'm like, this is a quality video, right? And then I made, like, an unregistered Hypercam 2 appear in the corner with editing. And the funny thing is,
Nice.
the comments were all saying, like, you forgot to edit out your Hypercam. I know what you used
Yes.
for now. And I'm
Well,
like,
that's YouTube in a nutshell for you. Like, I made an ironic playthrough. It was just like an ironic WTF is of I Want to Be the Guy Gaiden. It's still one of my most popular videos, and most people thought it was hilarious and didn't realize why. It's like I made that video in the stupid rage style that everyone seems to like on purpose to see how many people would actually like it. And what turned out to happen? Yes, everyone loved it. So yeah, and they didn't realize it was ironic at all, but... Oh, well, I guess that was my fault. But yes, if you want to watch a really bad playthrough of Pokemon Leaf Green with custom bios created with fan art, then head over to youtube.com/StephenPlays. That is Stephen with a PH rather than an F or a V. So do go check that one out.
that's fun.
All right, what have you got this week, Dodger?
Another Pokemon video.
Oh, God, why?
Yay!
No,
I think that this one will be right up your alley, TB. I'm pretty certain. So this is by my friend Shofu. He's awesome, and he does a lot of Pokemon rap videos. And he put out a new Pokemon rap, so that's my video, and we're gonna watch it.
Okay.
Yes.
Your money.
Pika pika. DJ
Time to show these niggas why we on some legendary shit. You already know. Again. You ready? Shout out DJ Sonic Freak. Get him. They call it King Shofu. Woke up hard body. Y'all niggas soft like tofu. When a nigga known to 6-0 dudes. You don't even know dude. Shofu. He's the one to go to. Make it rain. We make it hell. You better come with your snowshoes. Old new Pokemon boys beat the fuck out of the Pro Tools. Now hold up. Let me switch my flow up. Pocket full of donuts. Go nuts. Electro how I roll up. And a nigga got the tendency to fucking blow up. And he beat him on. Let me teach you a lesson. I get the impression you need the attention. Not a Pokemon go to heaven when they get this lethal injection. The mental aggression I'm gone.
Go to the 6 legendary moves with Shofu and this bitch Frost last and it's cool as a shit. Who is this kid? Just a nigga shocking that's right cool in this bitch. Johto be the home. Every time I float in earthquake starts splitting your dome. Fall to the bone, phone home. You not sick. I'm out of this world. The axis. My spits.
Oh, please, God, make it stop. The worst thing about it, like, let's just ignore the fact that we just had more curse words on this show in about 5 seconds than we've ever had. It's like, hey, racial epithets, we got them on this show. We're a bunch of white people playing this. This is great.
Or just cut that part out.
Best thing is
You can't cut that part out. It's every other word.
No, just edit out the video.
It's just constant beeping
Be
is
like,
what it would be.
this wound up being a little too intense for y'all. So go to the actual video.
Don't look at me.
That's
I wasn't the one singing it. I'm not going to be blamed for that. Anyway, you know, there's definitely skill there, but what annoys me is the fact that it would be a really good idea. Let's have the entire beat be Pika, Pika, frickin' Pika over and over again. That was infuriating. That was...
Best part was just how sinister Dodger was smiling through the whole thing. And he had little
I knew that when it ended,
he
TV
looked
was
like
going to be
horrified.
like,
He's just like, oh my god.
I hate you so much, you have no idea. You know what the funny thing is? Like, I'm pretty sure that this was suggested to us 2 weeks ago and I vetoed it on the basis of the language, and you've snuck it in just because... God!
It's just that damn slick.
that's how I roll.
That was a terrible thing, and yeah.
I really like your rapping.
Yes, I think your rapping is wonderful. Your beat is terrible. But by all means, do go and check it out. What channel do they have to go check that out?
YouTube.com/shofu, SHOFU.
Yes, I'm sure some people will like it.
Yeah.
That's my ringing endorsement. Some people might be okay with it.
Someone will like this.
Yes, indeed. Alright, I'll do my video then, which is, I've got to be the Angry Joe review of XCOM. And what else do I need to say about it? Let's take a look.
Odd thing.
If you've ever wondered what my favorite game of all time, old or new, is, it's the original XCOM in 1994. It is widely considered the best strategy game of all time. And I have very fond memories of playing this game on my dad's old 486 PC. Finally, after like 18 years of waiting, we have a new XCOM. Not a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter.
You maniac! You blew it up! Damn you!
But one that's true to its strategy roots. But I worry how our Call of Duty generation will take to it. An end turn button? I can actually play for 10 hours and lose? What the devilry is this? Quit your whining, boy, this is war! The original game was hard, it was brutal, but that was a part of its charm. The whole point of XCOM is to get your ass whooped. And
There you go. It is indeed. That's a really accurate statement. I like the fact that he started off talking about the difficulty, because that's the key part of XCOM. And I'm glad that he understands that.
Right.
Pretty damn important.
Odd thing. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying the odd thing about this here is that an Angry Joe video of all things is the most normal of the videos that have been shown off here today.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's true. That is true. You know what actually annoys me even more? You know, I'm going to make a point here on the state of the industry, so hold on to your butts.
Holding.
Indeed. So the point of the industry is that, isn't it depressing that one of the most accurate and journalistically valid impressions that you ever get on modern video games is from a guy whose gimmick is to shout a lot and calls himself Angry Joe and dresses up in costumes and casts the entire thing from a fake G.I. Joe command center? Does that not depress the crap out of you that... You know, this is not even an insult to him. This is an insult to the rest of the games journalism industry. What is wrong with you? Why can't you keep up with this guy who is, for the most part, playing for laughs and yet makes more valid points in 10 minutes than you've ever made in your entire sodding existence?
It's true.
You want to explain that?
Almost every time that I watch an Angry Joe review, I agree with.
I don't necessarily agree with
him.
them. I mean, you know, we went to Loggerheads actually on the Sleeping Dogs one. We had the two biggest Sleeping Dogs videos. Like, they've almost got equal views, because we decided, you know what would be great? If we cornered the market by cross-promoting our videos, that would be great, right? And it turned out it was. It was a great idea. But, like, he disagrees with me on a lot of points. But I still respect his opinion, because he expressed it very well. I just don't think that, you know, the things that he is concerned about are the same things that I'm concerned about. And welcome to reviewing. That's how it works. You know?
Yeah.
So
he puts a lot of work into his reviews.
He works his ass off to make that stuff. You know, he doesn't put out a lot of content because it takes him so long to make it. And not to mention he invests a lot of money into it too. He has to buy costumes pretty much every time, make stuff, create set pieces. He's the boss. He's a boss, and you should go and watch his stuff. I love him to death. He's great.
He's just generally a really nice dude too.
Yeah, he is.
Like,
I've
ever
met him
meet him
several
in
times.
person, he's great.
Yep, he's wonderful. He was actually on my team for the War of the Roses tournament, and it was pretty awesome. He was a great guy. So, by all means, go check out the XCOM review of XCOM, obviously. What? The XCOM review of XCOM. You can tell I'm getting to the end of the show. Like, I'm talking about my ass. The XCOM review. XCOM review of XCOM. Yeah, please, by all means, go check that out over at Angry Joe Show. And there's also content on my channel if you want to go and see other impressions of XCOM. I did quite a lot of it. So, and there most likely will be more of it. I'm very tempted to do a Let's Play of it. In a very, very good style, hopefully. Like,
should.
Yeah, I'm not going to screw it up. So, if I do a Let's Play of XCOM, it's like I will set Chuggaaconroy as my stand-in, and like, I've got to have more gimmicks than he does. So, let's begin!
Oh. Gotta be super informative, TB.
Well, you do have to be super informative. You know, and me and Chugga were talking about this, actually. You know, but since we kind of have the last maybe 10 minutes of the show, let's talk about Let's Play. Let's talk about how a Let's Play is supposed to be done.
Oh, God.
Let's do it, you know.
Oh, you're opening the can of worms. Go
Alright,
ahead.
okay, so I'm
gonna
opening the
go
can
on
of worms.
Tumblr. You guys.
So let me say this. So Chugga is actually one of the original non-SA LPs. Yeah, you've been Let's Playing for years. You are one of the originals, but you are one of the originals that wasn't on Something Awful. And that was Something Awful had a very specific way of doing things, and they also had a very large knowledge base, which they utilized to build Let's Playing. Yeah, they had rules. They had all sorts of good resources that you could use. Like, they had guys who would help you with video editing, the codecs to use, all of the right stuff, and you know they had a big resource to make that happen. Which is why most of the YouTube LPs were garbage, because they didn't have access to this. However, Chugga was not garbage, and Chugga got very, very popular. So I want to know what your philosophy is when it comes to Let's Playing. If you were having to talk to an audience of people, they all really want to start Let's Playing, and yet they have no idea what to do, and their only frame of reference is Uberhacks, Nova, Tobuscus, and PewDiePie. How would you tell them how to do it properly?
I think you broke Dodger with that.
How do you make proper Let's Plays, Chugga? How is it done?
Holding it in.
Okay, well, the thing is, honestly, I don't ever do like a specific game just because it's popular or new. I always do what I want, and I know that seems like a very generic thing to say, but the thing is, I think that if you are legitimately doing what you enjoy doing, your commentary will reflect that. You'll be a lot more enthusiastic. You will get things right a lot more of the time because it doesn't feel like memorizing a list of facts about something you don't really care that much about, because that feels like you're taking a test in school, really. And if you're having a good time, your commentary is going to reflect that a lot more. I also will say this, though, that even though I was not on Something Awful, I did look at a lot of, LP Archive, and
Yep,
I watched a lot of
lparchive.org, which is a wonderful site.
Yeah, I looked at a lot of existing Let's Plays that were on Something Awful, and I did use those as kind of a bit of guidance to see, like, okay, well, this is what they're doing in the way of video editing. This is like, okay, well, this is a bit of a pattern. Like, they're keeping this in, but editing this out, and it kind of helped me get a sense of, like, what belongs in a Let's Play and what doesn't. I will say that I did go with Something Awful, even though I was on YouTube. I did use Something Awful as a bit of a reference.
Yeah.
So that's, in a nutshell, that's a lot like how I decide my content, as well as like how I helped shape my content early on. Was with that.
Yep. And you don't really do you do games blind? Is that something that you've ever really done?
I personally don't. I'm not going to discount blind Let's Plays, because there definitely are games where that is good. I will say that horror games...
that seems to be the thing at the minute.
Yeah, horror games are popular right now. I will say that Proton John doing his Kaizo Mario World, doing the last stages of that blind, far more entertaining than it would have been if he would have practiced it ahead of time. But for stuff that I do, which is mostly like turn-based RPGs and, just standard platforming games and stuff like that, I don't really think, especially collect happy platformers, I don't think doing that blind is necessarily entertaining so much as it is sluggish and just painful to watch, because I'm just stammering around looking for a collectible or, fighting something that I don't know the stats on, and just struggling because, simply put, I just don't have the info, and those games are already kind of slow as it is. So, blind, there's a time and place for it, but for the type of content I do, I don't really think it's a good idea. But that's just my personal view.
Cool. That's a nice little piece of advice, I think, for those wanting to actually start doing Let's Plays. I'll tell you this for a fact. I criticize Let's Plays an awful lot, and the LPs that I criticize are all in the new style of, I've got to stick a face cam in here, and I'm going to screech and say a bunch of nonsense for no apparent reason whatsoever. I'm not going to edit to do anything whatsoever. It's sad, really, because this kind of content has become really popular. SA always railed against it. Always. Then there was a great video that I remember, which was actually made for Retsupre, who, for those of you who don't know, they make videos that, for the most part, it's like Mystery Science Theater 3000 for Let's Plays, where a couple of them sit over the Let's Play and they riff on it as it's going along, and they point out why it's bad. They also do some riffing on long plays of, like, Mega CD games, 32X, 3DO, which always turns out to be pretty funny. And there was a video made by Research Indicates, who is one of the best Let's Plays I've ever seen. I think he's only done 2 or maybe 3 LPs. He did Jurassic Park Trespasser, which remains as an example of one of the best LPs ever made, in my opinion. And he also did Crimson Skies. And he made a video, and this was years ago, that was highlighting what was really bad with some of the YouTube LPers that would, like, aim a camera at their screen and stuff like that. And it's funny because YouTube LPers seem to have now gotten the idea of how to film properly, but they don't have any idea how to edit. And they think that just doing everything live and shoving a face cam in the corner and completely overreacting to everything in an incredibly fake manner is a way to attract an audience. And you know what the sad thing is? They're right. It
works for the most part. Yeah.
I
don't know. Like, I much prefer watching Let's Plays that are really informative. Like, I like that. I like when the dead space in the game is filled with "Did you know?" sort of info.
Yeah, I want to know cool stuff about the game that I didn't know before.
Find interesting things to talk about when the game might not be that exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that I will say this, I do agree with you that I do like informative Let's Plays, and I don't think all Let's Plays need to be informative.
No, they don't.
But
some games just don't work for that. An informative Let's Play about Mario Party 3. Let's do it.
But I do think that one thing that is important to a Let's Play, informative or not, is that the viewer learns at least one new thing that they didn't know about the game prior to watching. I think that is important to a Let's Play. They don't all need to be informative. In some cases, they shouldn't be. But I do think that is something important to a good Let's Play. And I enjoy learning at least one new thing whenever I watch one. So I always do try to teach the viewer at least one new thing whenever I'm making my own.
Yeah, certainly. As far as I'm concerned, most LPs should be done by people that, as you point out, have a passion for the game and actually know what they're talking about in regards to it. I think there's maybe only 3, maybe 4 games I could ever possibly even think about doing an LP for. One would be Deus Ex. This is a game that I've beaten 8 or 9 times already, and I know the history of, and even then I am terrified that I'd fuck it up, because it's my favorite game of all time.
I don't want to screw up and not do it justice, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's a revered game. It's a sacred cow, and is there a game that you've done that you considered, like, that you were intimidated by because it's a game that either is viewed incredibly well, it's, like, universally acclaimed, it's a piece of gaming history, or something that you just enjoyed so much that you really didn't want to fuck it up?
Most of them, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm really intimidated going into a lot of them, admittedly, which is why I take so much time off between series, because I usually take a few weeks to, like, a month or so off in the middle of 2 series, just because I want to, like, really polish the next one, get a feel, like, for how I should commentate it and all that. And it's just, one that I will say, in retrospect, though, is Earthbound. That was my first Let's Play, which I'll say my first Let's Play was crap. Everyone's first Let's Play is crap, because you don't know what you're doing, you don't understand a lot of things about it, and you're just trying to get a feel for getting a setup that actually freaking works.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's my favorite game of all time. And I started with it. And I just, every time I look at it, I'm just like, why did I not save this for a later time when I better understood what I was doing?
Yeah. Because you are really tackling a sacred cow there. Earthbound is considered to be an incredible game by many people. So it's also a game that a lot of people haven't experienced, which is why a Let's Play on a game like that would be super useful, I think.
It would, yeah.
Same with, like, Akami and things like that.
Yeah, with, like, stuff like Brawl coming out, people saying Nest, they're like, well, let me look up what game he's from. And then they, would find that, and they would think a Let's Play that would be useful because it's not easy to find. Or I got a lot of viewers from Marvel vs. Capcom 3 coming out when I was Let's Playing Okami, and people wondering where Ami was from.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm trying to think of the other 3 games. I mean, I would probably LP XCOM, like, and again, I'm very tempted to do it. And the way that I would do it is I would draw upon my knowledge of the actual series, and I would provide comparisons. Like, every time we met a new alien, I would probably cut out to an informative section of history about that alien, things like that. Maybe show the alien in the different games, because like the sectoid versus the sectoid in the original game, they look very different. Like, XCOM, the original, looked very cartoonish, which was obviously a result of the pixel art in 1994, but it would be cool to be able to do bios and stats and everything, show the various iterations, even through the really bad games like Interceptor and Enforcer, which everyone thinks is terrible, because the one was a flight sim and the other was a third-person shooter, for whatever reason. It's like, hey, I want to show what the sectoid looked like in Enforcer, because I think that's an interesting piece of information, and tell people how they acted in the different games. And I think, that would be cool. And obviously it's a turn-based game, so you would want to try and cut out a lot of the downtime. This is what I did with Shining Force 3, because there are turns where you're trying to move 12 characters, it takes a while, and nothing's happening other than moving the characters. The problem with trying to do a Let's Play for XCOM is that a lot of the tension and enjoyment I think that you would get from watching it is from experiencing the tension that the player is feeling, not knowing whether or not he's going to miss that shot or hit it. Because if he misses that shot, then that's going to end up someone getting killed. So I'm trying to think of how the hell you do the informative stuff and do the live stuff, but I think I figured it out. I think I know a way. So I think that it is possible to combine the two and make a hybrid with some post-production and some live stuff that would make something really
hybrids
cool.
are doable. I try to be really informative when doing RPGs, but I try to just one thing I did in some of my Pokemon Let's Plays is I talk about like the in-game data, like numbers, and talk about like how things are programmed and how they work. But I try to find humor in that, saying like, for example, I know it's probably gonna you're not gonna understand these names, but
probably not. We'll go for it anyway.
There's a Pokemon called the Zooral, and it evolves into Marill. And an interesting thing about that family is that it's the one instance where a Zooral has a gender ratio different from one it evolves into. So 75% of Azurols are female, 25% of them are male, yet Marills, it's 50-50. So that means that 1/3 of all female Azurols grow a dick when they evolve. So I always do that. Like, I try to be informative and talk about like the inner workings of the game, but I try to find humor in the inner workings so that it's explained while pointing out, well, that's really weird. What were the programmers thinking?
Yeah. I mean, there's one final thing I'd like to say on the subject of LPs before we round up and tell people to go and watch our channels and make us money. And that's... I think that every LP should always pay respect to the game. It should always be respectful of the title. Now, there's some exceptions. Like, obviously, if you're riffing on a game, like if you're doing what the guys over at the Don't Press Start show do, or the guys at Continue, they often do that, then obviously, you're going to riff on it. But if you're going to make an LP of a game that is good in any way, it should always enhance the experience, and it should never be you being the... What's the best way to put it? The best way, I think, would be, are you watching the Let's Play because of the game that's being played, or because of the person playing it? And I think it should always be the game first, and you are an assistant, you are a guide, you are someone that's enhancing the game-watching experience. You are not the only reason people are watching it in the first place. And I think that there are all too many people that they don't show respect to the game, they just screech over it, they talk over cutscenes, they don't edit at all, they don't show the game in a good light, and they're only there to do their little comedy act, and I don't have respect for that.
Mm-hmm. I understand that.
So there you go. That's my opinion on LPs.
Yay!
Without yelling too much about some of the current ones that are...
There's our controversy for this video.
Yeah, there it
I
is.
don't think you're going to find many people that disagree with it, but it wouldn't surprise me. So if you disagree with it, by all means, leave a comment in the section below this video. It does help to get us some more search ranking, which we do very much adore. All right, that is pretty much us wrapped up for the Game Station podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Those of you who are watching live and are now catching us on the VOD, many apologies for the problems we had with the stream today. Hopefully the VOD has been suitably reasonable for you. Before we leave, I'd like to give everyone a chance to talk about what they're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks on their channels. So, Dodger, as always, why don't you start off, since you tend to wrap up pretty quick?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do gaming news. And then I'm also continuing my They Bleed Pixels and Sherlock Holmes, Testament of Sherlock Holmes, LPs. and then on youtube.com/dexterity bonus, I have a daily vlog where I drink coffee and tell you about my day, if that's interesting to you. So, that's what I'm doing.
Well, there you go. Chuggo, what do we got coming up from you?
Before I say anything, holy crap, do I look pale in this lighting because it's gotten darker around here and I'm
It
pretty
has
much
a
by the
little
light
bit,
of my
yes.
monitors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't worry,
I
we
have
don't
gotten
come on the show to
super-
look good. So by all means.
Anyway, well, we are nerds, but anyway.
Very true.
I'm going to be wrapping up my Let's Play of Okamiden for the DS, which is being recorded from an actual system, which that is incredibly complicated to how that works.
man.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I'm going to be wrapping up that. Extremely story-oriented. You're going to want to watch from the beginning on that one, should you want to be getting into it. It's very similar to Zelda. If you want basically a Zelda game with a more unique art style and a more epic story, Okami is for you. I've done a Let's Play on the first one. I'm currently doing the second one. And I've got something new coming out in a couple weeks after Okamiden's going to end, which is going to be something entirely new for my channel, something I've never done before. I'm going to leave it at that. And then on top of that, I have a collaborative channel where we do all kinds of crazy stuff, and we got some more Wii Party craziness coming out.
All right. Fantastic. What's coming up for me? Well, actually not a lot because, tomorrow, but those of you watching the VOD, this has already happened. I'm actually in Vegas this week to work at SOE Live. I'm going to be casting, and that's going to include PlanetSide 2's first tournament. And I'm also told that I'm casting DC Universe's PvP tournament. That'll be interesting because I had no idea that was happening. But there we go. I'm doing that too. So yeah, I'm in Vegas for that, and it's also our wedding anniversary, so I'm going to be staying there for the next couple of days after that to kind of chill out in Vegas for a little bit, take in some shows. I think we're going to go see Blue Man Group and some Cirque du Soleil, and I'm also going to go see the Star Trek Experience, because I will nerd out the shit over that. That's going to happen. So yeah, we're hanging in Vegas for the next couple of days, so I'll be basically gone for a week. There is some content made for the channel. There's not a lot of it, but, you know, I can only stockpile so much, but you will be seeing some content coming out over the next few days while I'm gone. There is, of course, this VOD that you're watching right now. And I'm still working on the Chivalry versus War of the Roses Deadliest War video, which is taking forever to make. So I don't even know if that's going to be out. If it's out by the time you're watching this, then I managed it. If it's not, I didn't manage it. So I'm sorry, and that will come later. And it's getting crazy. Like, over the next few weeks, we're getting to the point where all the big games are starting to come out, so expect WTF of everyone I could possibly do. So that will be happening. And then once I am done with all the nonsense, which is actually going to continue to November, because I'm also casting 3 tournaments in November, but thankfully I'm not away for that long, and for one of the tournaments I actually have access to a really powerful editing rig, so I will hopefully be working there too. So you're not going to see too much interruption, but I'm still working on the replacement for the mailbox. The mailbox is being phased out. It's going away, because we've done enough of it. We've done like 190 episodes of the mailbox. We've run out of good questions, so I'm going to do a news show, and I'm figuring something out for that, so I'm figuring out how best to do it, and hopefully you'll see that in the next few weeks. But, yep, you can check out our channels. The names are beneath right now. Cynical Brit is what you want to go for my main channel. Total Biscuit for my StarCraft channel.
Mine is Press Start to Continue for gaming, and then Dexterity Bonus for vlogs.
Yep.
And mine is Chuggaaconroy, 2 G's, 2 A's. Fun to spell. And for my collab stuff, the Runaway Guys, all one word.
The Runaway Guys. There you go, folks. So that wraps us up for the Game Station podcast. Thank you very much for watching. There will most likely be a TGS podcast next week when I come back from Vegas. It'll probably be on the Thursday rather than Wednesday, because I'm still flying back. So that would make things a little bit awkward. I don't think the plane Wi-Fi is quite up to that. Plus, the people around me might be finding it uncomfortable. One way or the other, there should be one next week. Once again, Jesse should be back, I would think. As far as I'm aware, he's not going to be slacking off next week.
I would assume so.
Indeed, yes. You want to follow us on Twitter, you can do that. Total Biscuit or Cynical Brit, if all you want is the channel announcements and not the general banter.
Mine is at Dex Bonus.
And mine is the same as my YouTube channel, at Chuggaaconroy and at The Runaway Guys. I almost said my own Twitter name wrong.
There you go, folks. Thank you very much for watching the Game Station podcast. Once again, apologies to the live stream viewers that were not able to get it this week. As I said, connections to the live stream are just not working today. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Good night. Oh, yeah. That's a problem.
Yeah, we could...
You got it? Yeah, we're back. We're back.
Okay, good. Yeah, okay. We could still hear you through all that. You didn't cut out or anything for us.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad I didn't for you. Yeah, but that's really, really weird indeed. Like the internet on the East Coast this week has actually been terrible. There's a map of usage, and the East Coast has been hammered. So I guess our infrastructure is terrible. But looks like we might be dropping out again. Oh my.